Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back. It is Fringe Fanatics. I am Chris Zane.
And I am Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it greatly. If you haven't yet, please go like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all things social media. And make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening, whatever you're listening on, to get the latest episodes as soon as they come out. So,
and thanks for being patient with us.
Yes, I know.
We missed last week.
Oh, the DMs and the messages were rolling in.
Where
are you?
Yeah.
Where are you?
It was nuts. I couldn't believe how many followers were kind of like just dying for an episode.
Yeah.
But I like to see that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice. But yeah, so we're back. Things are new. The room is very blue.
Yeah.
I like to tell Chad it is Broncos blue.
It is definitely, it's Jayhawk blue.
Yeah, we're going to argue about that for the whole time that we are here.
If anybody out there
the wall.
doesn't think that I'm a good Samaritan, just remember that I split up at least a good 4x4 section of my wall in my house to do that.
Yeah, and it's Broncos heavy. We realized we need to get some Nuggets stuff.
Definitely
we need
some
to get I got a bunch of shit packed away at my parents' house, and I need to go get down and go
You didn't
through.
even put the Rocky shit in here. You know, I'm not a fan, but I live here. I like to see them
the Rockies.
do well.
You hope they do well. You know, I think they're 500 right now, so they're doing
better than
all
the Royals.
right.
Yeah,
well,
the Royals only won one.
There we go.
But that's why we did miss last week, is I was moving, so we got everything set up in the new podcast studio, and we believe we are ready to roll.
Yeah, and things are on the up and up. We now have multiple camera angles, as you can see me here, and you can see Chad there. So yeah, we're bouncing back and forth. We finally got this set up looking the way that we want. We hope, anyways. Like, we just gotta, get used to this. The ability to bounce between, cameras is going to be something that I'm going to have to be on top of. So It's going to be definitely something that we need to work on. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, Chad, how has the move been?
It's been good. We got everything pretty much set up. As you see, we got a new couch today. That was nice. And, man, I'll tell you, it was probably one of the more stressful moves I've ever had. Ironically,
you were stressed. I could tell.
You could definitely tell. Because it's just like we have accumulated so much more shit. And then we had this. Like, you helped out a lot with the podcast. And, obviously, you helped out with the move. You came over on last Wednesday, you and Meryl, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're all good, and it helped to take some time off work. Luckily, Smalley was pretty cool, and that's me taking pretty much the whole week. So, got that all taken care of. But, yeah, I'm liking the new area. We just moved a block and a half down. It was so fun. We would load up the truck, and it was like, all right. Let's go.
Yeah, I was like, how far away is it? And he's like, it's literally like you just go down like 2-3 streets and you like take a left and you're there. And I was like, oh, well, that's pretty sweet.
Yep. It was really quick. If we had a couple of trucks, we could have done it in that like in no time.
Yeah. The last move though was way farther. You came all the way from DTC, which was like a 45-minute drive just to get here.
That was rough. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. So we're getting settled in. Just yesterday, it was nice out, and we just across the street have this big open space with some walking trails, and I took Juno on her first run, and she's a little out of shape, man. I'm getting a little worried, and my dog's getting a little up there. It's kind of sad.
It is a bummer when you start noticing that, and you're like, fuck, dude. It's happening.
She used to pull me. She used to be the one in front, and now my fat ass is the one like,
come on,
tell her. And I'm like, what, man? That is nuts. That's not the way it's supposed to be. But
and then you also kind of found out that you're getting a little old now.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Every day something.
35 all of a sudden.
Like a couple days ago it was my knee. Now it's my foot. I forgot I was going to bring an ice pack and put it underneath my foot, but shit, man, it's nuts.
Yeah, those feet, dude. Once they start hurting, it's like you don't realize how debilitating. Like the back, like once your back goes, your feet, anything that supports you standing. Once that goes, you're like, oh my god.
That's why we got to make this work, because we just sit here and chill, talk about sports rather than our physical labor jobs, man.
Yeah. Doing asphalt is definitely getting very old.
I bet it's fucking ready. Dude. Those days in the summer when we work in a warehouse and it's all the dock doors are open, but we're still inside. We're still shaded. Yeah. You're out there in the fucking blistering heat with asphalt around you. That's like literally the worst it could be.
Yeah. It's got the 400-degree asphalt, just making the 100-degree day feel that much, much more fun. So, but now we are at the point we need to get this leadoff shot done.
That's what I'm saying,
We need to get into some headlines, man.
We need to do that, and let's cheers to new podcast studio,
Yes.
new camera angles,
Yes, new beginnings.
upgrade
new things.
.mpeg.
Oh, and also, I mean, we'll mention in a little bit, the social media has been popping off. So.
Thanks to you, man.
Yeah,
you've become very tech savvy over your recent
I'm
employment.
finding I took a little break from work, and I found out how to do a bunch of shit. So, hey, look at us go.
Hey, to Fringe Fanatics.
Cheers.
Soaring.
And to you guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Man, that Buffalo Trace is good no matter what. I fucking love that shit.
It is, but that
Send
first
us-
shot every time. Yeah, if you're out there and you're a liquor company or you're just feeling generous.
Yeah. Argonauts, Total
Send us
Beverage.
booths.
We
Yeah.
will mention you multiple times. We'll make these
Daveco,
guys
come on.
deal with like 20 ads, maybe not that much, but like we'll make them deal with a lot of ads to get
They'll
through this.
deal with as many ads as it takes for me not to work, okay?
Yeah, I'm saying. We're going to get there. Because speaking of that social media, Chris figured out a way to make our own reels, and we've been sharing some videos, and one of them right now, I believe, has 87,000 views.
Something like that. I think by the
Fucking
weekend we'll
nuts,
probably hit
man.
100,000. I mean, it's not. I mean, I looked at I think it was Pat McAfee or something like that, and they've got 15 million likes and shit. But
We're not quite there yet.
But we got one post, and it's sad that we're this excited about it. But when you're at the ground level and things are just getting going, when you double your followers on Facebook in less
That's what we
than
got
a
to
week,
do, man.
all those people are going to be hearing the podcast, and they're going to be seeing all the new episodes coming up. So that's going to be pretty nice, and hopefully we get a lot more interaction. So
I believe it's going to happen.
but let's get into the headlines. Something did happen in the NFL today. Did you see the report Schefter put out that the Arizona Cardinals and the owner are now under investigation for cheating, a whole bunch of other stuff? Yeah, I'll have to look.
So my laptop's over there for the Nuggets game. You're going to have to...
I'm going to have to...
What are you talking about,
I'm gonna have
man?
to
I did
look
not
this
know
up.
about this.
It all surrounds around their... the general manager that got that extreme DUI, Steve Keim.
I remember
and he had
that.
to step away.
And that was in Mexico, I think, when they were...
No, that was one of their. That wasn't him. That was an offensive line coach
that's
or
right.
something
Yeah.
that groped a woman or something.
Can't do that.
Hold on, Schefter. I should have had this pulled up. I thought I was going to remember.
Sprung this
more
on me,
about
man.
it. So, former Cardinals exec Terry McDonough filed an arbitration claim today to Roger Goodell against the Cardinals owner Michael Bidwell, alleging cheating, discrimination, and harassment. Bidwell said all the claims are baseless, of course. So I guess they weren't allowed to contact Steve Keim, and McDonough saying that he has and was given a cell phone.
That's what I'm reading here.
Yeah.
So the claim states that McDonough and former Cardinals head coach Steve Wilkes were left no choice but to follow Bidwell's directive to use burner phones to communicate with then general manager Steve Keim, who was at the time suspended due to a DUI. Wow. Holy shit. I
Yeah.
did not know about this, man. I'm
that-
glad you kind of sprung this on me, because this is kind of just a natural reaction. Dude, this is kind of fucking big. I mean, that whole organization is in shambles right now.
Yeah, and it's not helping now with all this stuff coming out. And yeah, of course, he's going to come out and say it's all bullshit, it's all baseless. But even watching the Hard Knocks in season, and whenever that guy was around, he seems like a fucking douche. He kind of seems like someone who would
Kind
do
of
some
like a
shit
sleazy
like this.
guy.
But that McDonough guy says he has phones and he's got proof. So
Wow. Damn. Well, we'll have to pay attention to this, and we'll keep you guys updated on that. That is nuts. That's not good. Because, I mean, we're probably talking at least draft picks maybe taken away, or hefty fines, I imagine.
It's going to be probably a couple $100,000 fine, and then you're probably going to lose some draft picks as well, for sure. At least,
no doubt.
first, second round, maybe. Who knows? So
D-Hop's going to be hitchhiking out of there.
do you have anything else for the NFL right now? There's not too much happening.
No, I do have the Odell Beckham.
Oh, that's right.
Just the offer that was. I didn't look at the numbers to see what it was. I haven't seen that yet, but I just know I wanted to bring this up because I just thought it was really nuts that they aren't even close to getting a deal with Lamar Jackson, and then they're going to offer something to Odell, almost to be like, "Hey, Lamar, we're trying to get you some help." But when I was listening to ESPN this morning, I think they had said, maybe it was Ryan Clark, they have drafted 8 wide receivers since 2018.
Yeah, that's crazy. And none of them have really worked out.
No,
honestly.
not at all, dude.
The only one that was good, they traded to Arizona, Hollywood.
Yep.
And
Hollywood did better on the Cardinals.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're gonna do. It's not looking good. I mean, I don't even know if Lamar is gonna play this year at the rate it's going, with no other offers on the table. And, you know, it's basically stalled with Baltimore at this point. Like, what is going to be the outcome if he does end up staying with the franchise tag? Why would you play?
No, and exactly. It was like one of those guys, it's probably RC, that brought up, like, you know, you look at these other organizations with a star quarterback, and there's no denying that Lamar is that. You know, he's injury
former
prone,
MVP.
But you got to look at what the Ravens are asking of him, because, you know, you look at teams like the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. They've given him, you know, he had Tyreek Hill. He was already there. They have Travis Kelce. They drafted a first round running back. They have tried to give him help. Then you look at Josh Allen. They went out and got Diggs. Then you look at Joe Burrow. They went out and got his buddy Jamar Chase. Teams that know they have a number one star quarterback will go out and get some help. Instead, you look at the Ravens that are like, no, Lamar, you do it all.
Yeah, you get Mark Andrews, and that's it.
Mark Andrews, yeah. Oh, and then you get hurt because we make you do it all.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're not going to pay you.
Yeah.
No, that's now it's starting to sit with me that, like, that's not fucking cool. They need to offer him guaranteed money, not the $133 million.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. I mean, people forget they did offer him that deal, and you know, he shot it down because it wasn't the amount of years he wanted. And
well, you look
at, you know, it wasn't like
Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray got 178, and then he's getting he offered 133 million. That's a slap in the face. What has Kyler Murray done? Play video games.
Yeah,
that's it.
Where they had to put a clause in that he can't play video games.
Definitely wasn't even paying attention to that last year. He's still probably playing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Well, that about does it for the NFL, I think. I mean, the draft's coming up. That's really what's happening right now. There's still obviously some big free agents that are waiting to be signed, like Lamar and stuff.
There's a lot.
Odell.
Yeah. Still
some guys. I know Dalton Reisman from the Broncos is like one of the top-rated linemen left.
Okay.
And he's still, you know, I mean, the Broncos aren't paying him what he wants, but he thinks he can go out and get, you know, decent money out on the open market. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, right now it's just getting ready for the draft next week. I think when's the draft? Like the 22nd?
End of April. Yeah.
So once we get into the draft stuff a little bit more, we will start breaking that stuff down. I think we talked about doing, you know, maybe some who we think's the top guys are, and then maybe some sleepers in every. It's
so tough to predict.
Yeah.
I never really try to do like a mock draft, but I think we can at least try to like, you know, guess where some of these top guys will go. Did you ever see where I think it was last year Daniel Jeremiah got like 31 out of 32, right? Or it was like something else extreme like that.
Yeah, but it's at this point now they know. These guys are talking to all these insiders, and they basically know. It's like they had to tell Adam Schefter, like, please stop tweeting who got picked before we release it. You're ruining the broadcast.
Some of those guys, like him and Rappaport, man, they are just chomping at the bit to get this news out. And it's like, do you really need to get everyone out? I mean, you're already notable.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that you run into now, and we've seen it happen before where, you know, they put out conflicting reports and then they're going back and forth at each other because, you know, they're trying to beat the other one to a story. And
that could have been why Brady came back.
Could have been.
That and to earn back that money that he lost from FTX.
He
stings a little bit. I think that is it for NFL, though. What do you want to move to next?
Let's get into the NBA a little bit. This one, the one that I want to talk about on the top of the NBA is Wiggins is nearing his return. Yep. I think he is supposed to be back this week, early this week. It could be their next game, which I can't remember.
They play tonight, but they aren't going to be playing, or I don't think they're going to be playing them tonight. I think it's going to be the next game.
Yeah, because right now, you know, what's the point of bringing them back with 3-4 games left, however many they have left?
Well, I mean, they kind of need to because they're trying to, you know.
That is true.
Yeah, they're not.
But do you want to mess up the rotation right now? You know what I mean?
Well, when you got a guy like Wiggins, I mean, that guy is the one that always guards the other team's best player. So, I mean, it could really make a difference when you want to either get that 9 seed or the 7 seed, whatever they might end up as. It's real close there at the end of the West.
Yeah, it is weird, though. He missed the 22 games. And, everybody came out and said it was because his father was dealing with some medical issue. But then you hear this, like, other report that, like, his girlfriend was cheating on him or something. And, that's why he was missing all the time.
Shit,
I guess
didn't know
there's,
that.
like, some underlying, like, TikTok, Instagram, like, I don't know what's going on, some scandalous stuff. But, it's... You never know, man. You never know.
You can't be dating those TikTok girls, man.
Yeah.
They get around.
Any more these days, dude, everything's on, social media regardless. So it's hard to do anything without getting caught. So it's,
Yeah, it ain't worth it.
can't be doing that scandalous shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. What else we got for NBA?
Did you hear about that Blazers game? They pulled off the largest point spread upset in 30 years.
Oh, yeah. That was against, who was it? The Timberwolves?
Yeah, it was against the Timberwolves. They were missing 4 starters because I think they shut down Damian Lillard already. I don't think he's playing anymore. They're missing 4 starters. They're 19.5-point underdogs. They rally back from a 12-point deficit in the second half to win 107-105. It is the largest upset since the Dallas Mavericks beat the Seattle Supersonics as 19.5-point underdogs on April 6, 1993. Damn. And the second largest upset in ESPN Stats and Information's databases, which goes back to the 1990-91 season. When the Orlando Magic beat the Chicago Bulls as a 21-point underdog in 1992, that was the largest point spread upset in that time span. So,
wow.
Pretty wild.
Yep, and it's good, too, because Minnesota's in the West, and we want them to lose as much as possible.
Yeah, and, we talked about it, and it's coming to fruition.
Excuse me.
Kyrie is killing the Mavericks.
Man, he is.
How quick it happened.
It's just nuts because he just can't really gel with anybody. I mean, they weren't really good at defense beforehand, and then now it just has gotten worse. That was the same problem on the Nets. They just don't play defense. I mean, he's a guy, like I've said before, he plays it, at Rutgers Park. He's more of a street ball player, and as entertaining as that style of ball is, there's no defense involved.
Yeah, I mean, he's usually, like you said, it's rec center ball, he's doing everything he can to score, and it's not
Nope.
It doesn't Jesus Christ. It's not cohesive with playing team basketball. And that's what I think they're lacking now is you have Luka trying to let Kyrie be Kyrie because he is Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm sure Luka looked up to him at some point growing up, you know what I mean? They're not, Kyrie's
Luka's pretty young.
Yeah. So, I just think it's not working, and I think we're going to see them implode this offseason.
I really think so. Like you said, there's a real likely chance that they're going to shut Luka down.
Yeah.
He's already banged up with that hip right now. But, I mean, the thing of it is it's I don't know, man. I really wouldn't doubt. They're digging their own grave, but I've seen where there's a lot of questionable calls for the Mavs. And because of Mark Cuban's big ego and how he calls out the refs a lot.
Well, it's hard when he's sitting there courtside screaming at him.
Yeah, exactly. And, Adam Silver doesn't like that. And he doesn't like how they're, how he kind of just acts like it's the Wild Wild West, ironically, in Dallas. And just treats it like, hey, I can do whatever. I'm going to protest this loss and everything like that. So, I really went down at the NBA are kind of like just making sure they don't even get in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, they're doing a pretty good job of it themselves at this point.
They really are.
I think they're like, 3 games out of it at this point?
Yep.
And the teams ahead of them are vying and playing really close games. And, I mean, they're right there in the standings. They're all in a line, and it could be any one of them. And the Mavericks are on the outside looking in, and it's just crazy how fast that happened from the trade deadline to now.
So
We're
nuts,
just
man.
like, they were one of the – I mean, they were right there in the playoff race when they traded for Kyrie.
Oh, no doubt. Man, I think they were around like 6 or 7 at that point. Maybe I think it may have been 5 or 6, but I wanted to mention, look at how well Jalen Brunson's doing for the Knicks, dude.
Yeah,
like they trade away him, and they could have kept him with Luka, and then look, he's totally transformed that Knicks team.
Yeah, he really has, and I hated watching him play against the Nuggets. It was so annoying, him getting on them ticky-tack fouls.
I know you say that, and he does, but man, you watch him play, and he really is a good. He's good at driving the basketball. He's good at throwing in layups that come out of nowhere.
No, he's a good player.
He does get those ticky-tacky.
He definitely.
calls.
He's got that hardened. I'm going to use this to my advantage as much as possible type stuff. So
yeah, I see that.
But yeah, let's that's all I have for the NBA. Do you have anything else?
All right, we'll get into the more in the fast break.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yep.
We're going to move into the NHL. The Minnesota Wild, who are they're tied for first in the Central Division. They lose forward Mason Shaw. That's a hard thing to say back to back. Mason Shaw, he's done for the season with his 4th torn ACL at 24 years old.
He's torn his ACL 4 times.
Yeah.
Dude, I tore mine in high school. If I tore it again, I think I don't need it gets me sweaty even just thinking about doing it again. I mean, I ain't a pro athlete, but that is the worst, man. God damn, 4 times.
Yeah, man, that's what's crazy.
It's time to hang it up.
I mean, you look at like Jamal Murray, and like he's had such a hard time.
2, I think.
He has had. I think he did have one before, but this last one, I mean, it was almost a year and a half, 2 years before he played again, and. You can just tell he's even said he's like, I'm fine cutting, I'm fine driving to the basket. He's like, it's going up for rebounds and coming down, not looking at your feet. That is like, you can't get it out of your head that like, I'm going to step on someone's foot and I'm going to blow out my knee again. And it's crazy.
That thought, man.
Yeah.
It's that thought. It's just so scary because it's just like your knee is so feeble. You could be have a jacked knee. You see those guys doing squats sometimes, man. You get too much weight on there. Your knee ain't gonna support that, and it just buckles. It's so scary, dude.
You see that happen a lot with the NFL guys. I think that's why you see a lot of it happen in the preseason and stuff, is because those guys are sitting there bulking up, and a lot of them don't realize that's what happened to Von Miller when he got so huge and he tore his ACL.
Oh, really?
It's because he gained he was like 270 or something like that. He was a monster.
I never knew he got that big.
Huge. It was like, I think it was it right when he came back from the suspension? I can't remember. It's the year he tore his ACL, but he was a monster. People are like, he looks like not real, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And he's, that's what they say. You get so thigh heavy that it's just like pulling.
It's just physics, man.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's already like pulling it tight, and then all it takes is that one cut, and then pink.
Get my heart in my chest just thinking about it, man.
Pops like rubber
rehab
band.
Was the worst, dude. So what happened when I was in? Like I said, I didn't really even play that much. My friends that might listen to this in football in high school, they know. But it was the scrimmage game, the very first game of the season, like before with the actual games. Yeah. I go to make a tackle, and then the rest of the pile comes on top of me, and my leg gets caught behind me, and it just, it just tears, and I knew something was wrong, and I can still feel that like snap. It's like a rubber band. And for these guys to do it like 4 times, like pro athletes and stuff, because that's just it. Like, it wasn't so much the act of it. It's the rehab after, man.
It's how fucked up you are after to try and come back.
I mean, you've seen where like there's sometimes, I think when we worked at Tokyo Joe's, there was sometimes it would pop out of place and I'd have to sit down there and like a fucking, action figure, pop it back into place, man. It's... I don't wish that upon anybody.
Yeah, it's crazy too, dude. So he's done it 4 times. All of them have been with the Wild. He was drafted in, what was it? So this happened Saturday against the Knights. Where was it? He joined the... oh, shit. Where am I at?
So that's got to be...
Oh, shit. I didn't write it down. So he's had 3 surgeries. I think he was drafted in 2017. This was his first full season in the NHL. So since 2017, dude, in 5 years, he's torn his ACL 4 times.
God damn.
Or no,
that's too bad.
6 years.
So this is the team that's just above the Avs, right?
They are. So the Stars and the Wild are tied at 98 points, and then you have the Avs sitting at 96.
Okay.
But the Avs have a game in hand on both of them. So if the Avs were to tie, they automatically
have the tiebreaker.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
and we're coming down to the wire. I know it's just like the NBA. It's almost...
Dude, you want to know what's crazy?
What's up?
Think about this. We could have, in theory, an NBA Finals with the Boston Celtics, the Denver Nuggets, and a Stanley Cup Finals with the Boston Bruins and the Colorado Avalanche.
It would be nice to see the Avs get that far, and the Nuggets.
There is a possibility in the West, but
there is a possibility.
Imagine how crazy that would be. Dude.
That would be pretty cool.
It would literally be every night.
We'll have to look it up, dude. I mean, what would they even do? Because I mean,
That would be a scheduling nightmare.
They would have to try to
scheduling
schedule
nightmare.
it. They would have to change because it's. I mean, I'd like to look it up. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Where like both cities are in like consecutive championship, because really the only time you could have it happen and be like crazy is the NHL and the NBA.
Right.
You know, like the NFL happens at a completely different time. Soccer's,
Well, yeah, and these guys
nobody
play in
really-
the same
yeah.
stadium, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Avs and the Nuggets play in the same stadium, and Boston, I'm pretty sure it's the same. Yeah, it's the same place. So
Right.
that would be crazy. It'd be so nuts if that happened.
That would be fucking crazy. I didn't ever think about that. That would be nuts. I mean, I would definitely predict that the Boston Bruins are going to go to the finals. I mean, no, they're on a train that nobody can stop.
We'll see what happens, man. Everybody said that about the Avalanche when they won the President's Cup, and you know,
Well, you look at the light.
I think the last 3 or 4 teams that have won the President's Cup have not.
Who was it that
won
won it last
Stanley
year?
Cup.
They got knocked out in the conference finals too, I think.
Who won it last year? Shit, it was. I think it was the Knights that won it last year.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was the Knights.
I thought it was Eastern Conference, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe it would have been the Lightning then, probably.
Yeah, I think it was.
Well, actually, you know what? I might get to that here shortly. No, that I'm going to talk about something else.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So, we're moving on to the Bruins. Speaking of Boston, the Boston Bruins become the 4th team to win at least 60 games in NHL history. They joined the 2018-2019 Tampa Bay Lightning at 62 games, the 95-96 Red Wings at 62 games, and the 76-77 Canadiens with 60 games. The Bruins now have 125 points this season and are on pace for 133 points, which would break the NHL single-season record of 132 set by the 76-77 Canadiens. Boston has 5 games remaining in the regular season. So they are liable to break every winning record for NHL.
It's very possible, which adds to so much pressure in the playoffs. So
it really does, and that's the thing. Like we've talked about that before. Those teams that win a lot of games, you waste a lot of energy winning all them games.
Oh yeah,
and it's also the whole getting punched in the mouth thing. If you haven't really lost a lot of heartbreakers and lost a lot of games that fortify a team in the playoffs, those things come to bite you in the ass.
You got to go through that adversity.
Damn right.
Yep.
Let's get into the MLB real quick, because I do want to talk about the fact that we are still talking about the MLB.
Yeah.
Normally by now it's already fizzled out, but I think this pitch clock thing is changed
it's great, man.
the Major League Baseball for the better.
That's one thing I got written down. Is talk about the Orioles, man.
Oh, the Orioles? You want to talk about the Orioles? I don't even know what you're going to talk about with the Orioles, because I want to talk about the fact that game times are down an average of 30 minutes right now. Baseball is becoming more fun to watch again. There's so much new shit happening. You're getting Manny Machado got thrown out of a game today for arguing, getting called out for hitting clock violation.
Yeah,
he didn't get in the box quick enough, and they threw him out.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice. It's nice just to see baseball being in the limelight again. I think the World Baseball Classic really set this up perfectly.
I think it did.
Yeah. That's the huge thing. That put so much just buzz around baseball that hasn't been there for a while.
Was that the episode we recorded 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, because I don't know if we ever got to it, at least on air, that was so much fun for me, man. I got to watch Shohei Ohtani strike out Mike Trout with a nasty slider. And you know me, I don't watch that much baseball. When I do, maybe it's like postseason or mainly just around the postseason. Sometimes during the regular season, that's it. But that to me brought up memories as a kid, watching the Braves with my mom or something. It was so much fun where Japan, a powerhouse, and then he goes up and pitches against his teammate. I mean, it was out of a movie.
Yeah, and he did something that Mike Trout has never done before, which was he didn't swing the bat. He got struck out looking. He's never had an at-bat where he didn't swing and at least make contact or make a foul ball. I think we can say right now, Shohei Ohtani is the best athlete in the world.
In baseball. I mean, you put him on a football
world. I would go in world.
But you got to separate it in sports, man. I mean, you put him on a football field. Do you think he's going to be?
No, but I'm just talking of course, if you you put him on a football field,
that's
he
what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
even know what a football is.
It's different categories, man. It's he is the best baseball player
Okay, we'll go
now.
there, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say athlete because if you can throw 100 miles per hour and hit 100 mile per hour fastball and hit it with power out of the park consistently, you are one of the best athletes.
There's no doubt about
Ruth
that.
is
Yes.
the last person to do this type
And
of
look
stuff.
how big and all the hot dogs and beer
Yeah.
Babe Ruth had.
Imagine
Yeah.
if he was now and
Yeah.
was on a regimen.
Dude, you're not even making the league at this point.
Dude, if Babe Ruth was alive right now, he would be like John Daly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that John Daly. That's who he would be, man. Smoking cigars.
Yeah,
and
John Daly
cigarettes.
would be Babe Ruth too. But basically, John Daly is Babe Ruth 2.0.
He seriously is. Like, for golf. I ain't never really thought about that, but he
Yeah,
is.
he literally is, man. It's crazy.
No doubt.
But yeah, that was one thing I want to talk about.
That's what I got written down here as well. I didn't even get to the Orioles thing.
We'll talk about the Orioles real quick because there's only one other thing I want to mention in
So
baseball.
for what you were talking about with how the games have been shortened, the Orioles broke a record that has been held since 1901, where in their first 2 games they stole a total of 10 bases.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's because of this whole new pitch clock thing, where it also involves you can't draw out how long you're going to look off the runner or how many times you can even throw to first base or anything like that.
yeah. I think you only have like one time to throw over now.
Yeah, and so stolen bases are way up.
Yeah.
And so the Orioles have stolen 10 in
I
the first 2
think-
games.
Last year, did I write it down? I thought I did. Oh, yeah, because stolen bases have doubled. So
Yeah.
I think last year they only had like 20-some in the open weekend, and this weekend there was 70.
Wow.
And that makes baseball funner.
I
dude,
love it,
stealing
man.
bases.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like what they
Ricky
it said.
Henderson, come
Yep,
on,
Ricky
man.
Henderson. I mean, probably one of the best base stealers
Yeah.
of all time. I mean, you look at this stuff; it makes the game more fun.
It really does.
I mean, you look at what football did. You know, they leaned into what drives ratings. It's offense. You know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Let's talk about that real quick. The batting average has increased 16% across the entire MLB
Jesus.
because
That's
of this
significant.
Because
Yeah.
you don't have these guys sitting there taking forever. Like, that throws you out of your rhythm.
Well, and the funny thing about it is, the pitchers like it too.
Yeah.
Because they don't have hitters that are going to sit there and be like, "Wait, hold on, wait."
Oh, dude, sometimes
I got
it's
just
the,
my
the
I got-
batters that are worse than the pitchers.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes they're sitting there doing all their shit, adjusting their gloves 50 times, and
sit there. Let me put a new piece of gum in. All this stupid shit. Where like pitchers are in a rhythm. They want to get it going.
Yeah.
and now they can't. I mean, it's crazy because both sides love it.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's nuts. I mean, to think that like when I saw that, I was like, that's a record that's held for 122 years. That's insane.
Yeah, and you just look at like the games. Like I think there was a game that was like 2 hours and some.
Yeah,
like
it was
2 hours
just
and
over 2
7
hours.
minutes or something
Yep.
like that. Dude,
I could watch that.
I could never imagine a baseball game taking that long before this year
Never.
because it's insane. I think I saw in like 1918 or something there was a game that was 59 minutes. That must have been a lot of one pitch outs. You know what I mean? They
They're
had to
like,
go
let's-
fast.
like, we got a party to get
Grounders
to afterwards.
and
Let's get
fly
this
balls.
over with.
So the other thing I did want to mention, and did you get into the Orioles yet, or do you want to get into
Yeah,
it?
I just
that was
covered-
it. That was
yeah.
it. Okay, so
But are you done with baseball?
no, I got one more thing.
Okay,
So I
go
got
ahead
one more
and
thing
then-
to mention about baseball. Anthony Rendon has been suspended for 4
Yeah.
games after an altercation.
I was almost
going to
bring this up.
Yeah.
Dude, he didn't even care. He was
No.
like, I don't like the dude.
Yeah.
It was just, he was mad. Like, he was like, I respect taunting and all that, but like, he was like, I didn't like, he didn't really apologize for it at all.
Well, I guess they did talk on the phone, and they both did apologize. That was part of the process.
Okay,
I
that's
think
cool.
that's how it was 5 games, and it got dropped to 4. But I think what supposedly the guy called him a bitch.
Oh, wow.
And Anthony Rendon grabbed this dude by the jersey, like had him by the jersey, and then took a swipe at him.
Yeah.
And it looked like he knocked his hat off or something. I couldn't see for sure in the video, but I mean, he definitely went after him.
Dude, if that was going to happen in the NBA or some shit, they would
Ron
get,
Artest.
yeah, they would get
Malice in the
suspended
Palace.
for a long time.
Well, dude, now in the NBA, dude, these guys are throwing everybody out.
Yeah,
They
they're
got Kyrie the other day. Is like, this guy's being mean.
Yeah.
Can you please
he
eject
called me
him?
a name.
He said I'm not as good at basketball as I should be.
Fucking ridiculous, man. But then in baseball, they're like, fuck this dude, I'm going to fight him. You know? I love it.
But yeah, that's all I've got for baseball. Do you want to get into March Madness?
I just want to mention that Shohei Ohtani hit a 431-foot home run last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you, dude. The guy's insane.
He is, just one of the best baseball players I've ever seen, man. He, I think, is almost single-handedly resurrecting baseball.
Yeah.
Along with the the rule changes.
He's also gonna have the highest paid sports contract of all time.
No doubt, dude. They're talking about close to about maybe $700 million.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Do you think he walks from the Angels?
Yeah.
He should.
Dude, the Angels, you hear, like, Mike Trout hit 3 home runs. Shohei Ohtani pitches, like, 7 no-hit innings, and they lose 5-3.
What was it, I think it was the first game, he struck out 10 batters, and they lost.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's fucking sad, man. Like, the Angels, the whole organization are doing him such a disservice. Like, some of these guys, they had a good, I guess, take on it, where they're like, he just needs to skip to the other side of the town, join the Dodgers, be like, all right, I'm going to win me a ring.
Yeah.
And then he can make even more money.
The Dodgers or the Padres or...
Padres.
The worst thing would be the Yankees.
That suck.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Go to the Royals. Maybe, please.
Come on, come to the Rockies, man.
It's nice here.
Yeah, it's nice here. We got, like, 300 days of sunshine or some shit.
Yeah. So... moving on for baseball.
Let's get into March Madness. I'll let you take control on this one.
Wow. I wish I would have listened to Jay Billis. To me, when it comes to college basketball, that is the quintessential expert when it comes to...
The man.
He is. And I filled out 4 brackets this year. And, 4 brackets. And I almost filled out a bracket that was exactly like his. Because he releases it and stuff. And he picked UConn to win.
Yeah, but it's not like he got it right.
He picked UConn to win.
Well, I know, but it's not like he picked a perfect bracket.
No, it's not like you picked a perfect bracket, but if you get the winner right, especially in a year like this year, you win. Like in the I held a bracket challenge at my work. Literally going into the Elite Eight,
you basically had to have the winner to win.
Well,
everybody's brackets were so
that's what I was going to say. It's like going into the Elite Eight, the leader of it nobody even had, there was only 2 people that could have possibly won it. And it was me and another guy that had Texas winning. And he only had Texas winning because I told him, I said, Texas is a really good team. He said he just copied off me. And I was like, all right. But I had a better bracket. So I would have taken first. He would have taken second if Texas would have won it all. Texas lost. And by the Elite Eight, the leader had won it. Nobody else could have even surpassed. Like, that's how busted everybody's brackets were. So I just want to get at that, like how this is a year where it showed more parity than any other, and it's just it's fantastic for basketball. And last night, UConn did defeat San Diego State to win the national championship for their 5th time, cementing themselves as a blue blood. I mean, to me, they might be the best blue blood right now. 5 championships since '99.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's crazy. I mean, let's see. Where did I get that? Yeah, 5 in the last 24 years under 3 coaches. They are now a bona fide blue blood.
There's no doubt about it. There really is, yeah.
They're right up there. You got to put them up there with the Dukes.
You look at the NBA players. Yeah. The North Carolinas.
Well, yeah, the NBA players. Kimball Walker. Who else was it?
Okafor. They
make it Okafor.
Yep.
And then
Rudy Gay.
Yep.
They had a bunch of guys.
A bunch of guys that have gone on and produced in the NBA. I did think it was crazy. Did you know Jordan Hawkins and Angel Reese are cousins?
Oh no, I didn't. Oh, like from LSU?
Yeah.
What? I did not know that.
So the two people on the winners of the NCAA
That's
Final
crazy.
Four and the men's and women's are related. They're cousins.
Playing on schools from different sides of the country too.
Yeah,
wow, that's pretty wild.
But
winner in their blood.
You look at UConn winning it, and it was a landslide. Both of the games were kind of shitty, and when you really boil down the games, the men game. Like, what's crazy to me is the women's game. I think, and the fact that we're still talking about the women's championship. I mean, any other year, I think with the championship being on Friday, nobody would be talking about it on Monday, but it keeps going. I think it's a bigger story than the men's in general, just right with all the bullshit that's going on in it. But it is kind of a bummer. The men's was just kind of like it was crazy, and then it was just a blowout, and it's kind of like
it was kind of a bummer that San Diego State had put much of it, but it is a testament to how well UConn really plays. And as soon as San Diego State started to come back, just like a lot of their games, even with Miami, they dialed it in and then closed it out.
Yeah, definitely.
But as far as the women's,
it's basically over at halftime, though.
Yeah, no doubt. I honestly, for the first time in a while, I didn't watch a minute of the men's basketball because I knew UConn would win.
Yeah,
it's just, it sucks. But I did watch some of the women's one, and then I watched. This is really frustrating.
Dude, they're gonna play like it's their Super Bowl. They got nothing left.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't want to let the team clinch on your home court, dude. That's you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. It's still close.
But Yeah, so Friday night, Hannah and I watched Iowa versus South Carolina, and that is a game I'll remember for the rest of my life. Like that, it was just some of the best basketball I'd ever seen. And yeah, Caitlin Clark did lose in the championship, but I mean, she's somebody. She had a better tournament than Cheryl Swoops. It's literally the best tournament by a player since '93.
Yeah, I think there's been only 6 other people to have a tournament that's even like gone close to like what she did. I mean, she's the she won the Wooden Award for best college basketball player of the year. The LSU Iowa game had 9.9 million viewers. That's more than most Thursday night games this year.
Yeah, I believe it.
NFL. So I think at the end of the day, and this is kind of what I was getting to on the post, we made a post about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese talking shit at the end of the game. And it's gone down some crazy rabbit holes on Facebook. But needless to say, like, I just think regardless of all the bullshit, both of those women have done more for the sport of basketball for women this year than probably has been done in a long time. Yeah. So I think that's the big thing. And again, that's what I was saying. Like, we're talking about the women's game more than the men's game. And I think it's just going to show, like, women's basketball is in a good place right now.
It is.
And I think Caitlin Clark came out and said, she's like, you know what? I don't have any problem with what she said. She's like, I hope all girls coming up start playing like that.
I love her response to it.
Nobody gave a shit about men if men do it, but like because it's women, it's a whole nother thing. And going down the race path is crazy, but unfortunately, that's where a lot of people went with this. And I think even if it was, you know, if you flip genders and you're talking about the men's game and the similar thing happened, I think that race card would have been pulled again anyways. But
it probably would have, but it is just sad to see.
It's way more than since it's women's. For
you
some
look
reason.
at the trash talk that like guys do. We don't bat an eye to it.
Dude,
but then as soon as they do it, they're like, "Oh my god, what are they doing? They're just supposed to be, you know, as home ec teachers. Why aren't they just in the kitchen? Like, it doesn't matter if they're playing basketball or not. Like, they are competitors. Yeah. You know, like some of these,
in the heat of the moment, you never know what's going to happen.
I loved it, man. I loved the fact that Caitlin Clark did it, and then I loved that Angel Reese did it. Like, it to me is made, and then she even reenacted the Joe Burrow smoking a cigar thing, man.
That wasn't her. That was another.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, it was another teammate. But still, I mean, we're talking about it, dude.
That's swag, man. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is my Friday night. I mean,
you spent your Friday night watching.
I spent my Friday night watching women's basketball, and I'm not saying that just to be like, oh, I support women. I'm an ally. No,
pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, it's like, no, this is something where like my girlfriend loves basketball. She played basketball in high school, and I was like, yo, you got to check this chick out.
Well, and I hate to say, we've talked about it before. The women's basketball game is how basketball is originally intended to be played.
Yeah. To me, and you know what's funny? You say this, and I hate to draw this back to the Nuggets, but like, I was thinking watching that game, I was like, I wonder if their coaches just say, watch Jokic play. Like, it is just the way basketball is supposed to be played. You're not out there trying to like make a behind the back dunk or anything like that. But you look at some of the passes that Caitlin Clark makes, and then let's even take an example, Marquise Newell. Won the award for the best point guard in college basketball. Yeah. And this is just getting into point why I love college basketball, because 90% of these guys won't make it to the NBA.
Yeah.
But to me, it is so entertaining to watch basketball played. And it's like what we talked about with De'Aaron Fox, who was like, I can't stand watching college basketball.
Yeah,
these guys miss shots all the time.
Yeah.
And
the coaching's terrible.
It's like, dude, they're in college. Obviously, they're not in pros and going to be making 50%, whatever. But you look at a guy like Marquise Newell, who is 5'8", 1 inch shorter than me. I fucking suck at basketball. And you look at like, he's shorter than me, and he is making passes that is just unreal, like back of his head, eyes in the back of his head. To me, that is how basketball is supposed to be played. I love watching assists, and that's why we always like beckon for Jokic to make it. I saw this compilation that I think it was the Nuggets or somebody did last night of the best assists of Jokic this season, and to me that's just like street ball. where you don't have to make a crazy layup or a dunk to have like an acrobatic play.
I mean, the whole like posterizing shit came from like what basketball isn't, you know? You're not supposed to be dunking on dudes. You're supposed to find the guy that's open with a free lane to the basket. And that's what Jokic does. And he sees the lanes before even the guys half the time that are catching the ball do.
Damn right he does. And you watch like some of Marquise Noel's highlights too. The dude was making passes from half court down to the post, threading the needle.
Didn't he make that one pass where he was like arguing with his coach?
Oh, dude, I watched that live.
Dude, that's so awesome. He's sitting there and he's like, what do you want? What do you want? And he's just like, poof, and just like, and then people are like, what the fuck did he just throw the ball to? And then that guy just dunks it, and it's like, what the hell just happened?
I watched that live, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And then he does that, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw that after the game, they were questioning about it, and they're like, was that on purpose, or were you actually arguing? He's like, you guys have to find out about that later.
That's a great response too. I think he's actually coming back
on the 30
next year
for 30,
too.
Man.
I can't wait. Like I think the coach got coach of the year too, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I did want to go back to Caitlin Clark though, real quick. Like I said, she did win the Wooden Award. She averaged 27.8 points, 8.6 assists, and 7.1 rebounds, all while shooting 47.3% from the field, as well as 38.9% from three-point land.
Yeah.
She also had 5 triple-doubles this year.
Oh
Speaking of which, one of those, she scored 41 in the Elite Eight, also recording the first and only 40-point triple-double by any man or woman in the NCAA tournament.
Right
That's
there.
huge, man. That alone just goes to show you, like, I think women's basketball is in a good spot. If only they could get the professional game to a level that people cared about. Like, if you could get this kind of fever around the WNBA, it's just so hard to do, man.
I wasn't aware of the rule that they have to play till they can't go to the NBA till after they graduate, basically, because she's a junior. And so she still has to play another year.
Yeah. Well, then see, that's the thing that's crazy too. And I didn't get into it this week, and that's something we probably need to get into. But the new CBA and the NBA.
Yeah,
I think they address some of that.
I thought we might bring that up, but we can get into.
We'll get into it next week. I want to do a deep dive into it. And we had so much shit going on with the new cameras and moving.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
We're lucky we're getting a normal show out.
Right? We but we worked at it.
No, we definitely did. But yeah.
But she's amazing, man. It's like. So I had seen like some of the hype around her throughout this year, and then like seeing some of it in the early rounds of the playoff and the tournament. It got to a point where I'm like, I gotta check this out. What is going on? And then you see it, and then Friday night when we were watching it, Hannah asked, and she's like, "Is there a rest of the team? It's only her, but she does so much of the facilitating too. She either scored or assisted on like 85% of the points on Friday night."
Oh, and on Friday night. Throughout the whole tournament, I think she either shot or assisted on 67% of Iowa's total points.
That's insane, man.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at someone that's like, this is like Sue Bird. This is Cheryl Swoops, Deanna Taurasi. She's going to go into the NBA and be a great.
Yeah, you're probably talking about like one of the next greats of the WNBA that we're watching right now. She's still, I think, she could play 2 more years. I think she'll probably only do 1 more. I don't know for sure.
It's go weird. Get that money.
Yeah, well, she's making $3 million a year right now. NIL,
is she from
baby.
NIL? Nice.
Which is one thing we need to talk about. I saw a crazy thing. Let's get into this real quick, and then we're going to hit the musical break and get going on the rest of the show. But I found this crazy thing on the NIL. Take a guess how much Archie Manning is and where he ranks on the top 10 of the NIL.
A coworker told me this today. I think he is number 2 or 3, and I think he's making $10 million.
Nobody's making that much money.
Okay,
but
maybe I was wrong.
You're close. He's 2. He's making $3.7 million.
He's number 2. Who's number 1 in the NIL?
I'll give you one guess. It's not. He's not in college. I'll tell you that.
Victor Wembanyama? No, that wouldn't make sense.
Bronny James.
Oh,
$7.2 million.
And he's not even in college yet?
High school.
Wow. He doesn't even need it.
Dude, well, and another thing was crazy. They had the All-American, the McDonald's All-American.
Yeah.
Him and one other kid were the only kids wearing Nikes because it's sponsored by Adidas. They said, nope. I get paid too much to wear Nikes. I'm not wearing Adidas in your Adidas sponsored event. They're the only two that didn't wear
So
them.
Adidas allowed him to do it, or
He makes too much money, dude. It's Nike.
that's
You can't
dude?
fuck
I
with
can't
that.
wait to watch that Air movie. I think it's gonna be fucking awesome.
Oh, that movie looks really good.
It looks really
yeah,
good.
It does
man.
look really good.
It's cool because that's the first movie they've kind of like done together, for in a long time.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. The other thing, though, I did want to mention, 2 Colorado University players are on the top 10.
Yeah, I did hear about this today though. It's-
Shador,
Yeah, his
our
Deion
quarterback,
Sanders' son, and then
one of them, and then
the
Travis
quarterback.
Hunter.
The cornerback. Yep.
Yeah. So Travis Hunter is making 1.7, Shador Sanders 1.5.
Yeah.
I saw a video today on, I think it was Twitter, TikTok. Well, I mean, it probably came from TikTok, but it was from Prime's, his other son that runs all the social media stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It came from that account. Shador Sanders has a $300,000 Maybach SUV that he drives to school on a regular basis.
Damn.
That's crazy,
Well, it's a
dude.
good thing that your
That's
dad's Deion
crazy.
Sanders.
Yeah, I know. And then I feel bad for the guy that's running his son that's running the media stuff. He's like watching his other brother like show off his $300,000 Maybach.
Well, I
and he's
mean,
like-
if you don't have
he's like,
athletic ability,
can I get a little bit better shot real quick? I need to get a better shot of your cool ass car, little brother. It's crazy.
it's nuts what these guys are making right now, man. Like I was kind of debating with a guy at work today, and he was like, "Oh, I just don't think they should do." I'm like, dude, the March Madness in college football, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, man. I read this.
These schools are making so much money
so
off these
much
kids
money
for
off
so long.
It's entertainment. It's
We'll have
what
to
it-
talk about who it was that actually broke this whole thing open, and that's what ended NCAA football, the video game, was because this guy was like, "This isn't right. Like
Yeah.
that's me.
Yep.
That's my size measurements. That's my number. It doesn't have my name on it, and you're making money off of it.
Yeah,
and
it's fucked
not
up,
right.
man. Yeah, that's why I can't stand it. It's like, oh, they're at college. They're getting a scholarship. It's like, are you fucking kidding me, man?
They don't even. Half of them don't even finish their degree.
Half of them don't even go to class. They have TAs that do all their homework, man. They are out there to entertain
They're out
you.
there to make money for the school.
I just can't. I was like, this is fucking bogus, man. Don't be fucking. I think these guys, because I read this thing one time where I can't remember what college basketball player it was, had won the national championship and then went back to college to eat ramen noodles because that's all he could afford.
Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
just won the school national championship.
And I'm eating nothing.
You should at least be able to get. It's like the guys here in CU, like I said. It's like shit. Frank Azar can come to him and be like, "Hey, you want to do what you got a strong arm."
Well, dude, I mean, we were talking about that the Final Four. That's what happened with Miami. They have that booster that's paying he brought that kid in and he's paying him like $500,000 a year.
Miami's getting paid, dude.
Yeah.
And shit, like it's just gonna change the game for it. And I know NCAA's having like a meeting about this the next week or something.
Well,
like
the
that.
Blue Bloods are only going to get better. That's what sucks.
Well-
Alabama's all this. Well, CU now apparently.
I can argue to that because we also got the transfer portal to where when these guys maybe get this money and it's like, all right, I had an all right year, but
They're
this
basically all
guy's
free agents now.
yeah, this guy's starting above me. I can go to
outta here.
CU and start. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
It's changing the
Dude,
game.
if you're making $1 million, I mean, dude,
This was the
it's crazy.
craziest year of college basketball I've ever seen in my life,
Yeah.
man. I mean, the first 2 days it was just madness. I mean, March Madness totally lived up to its
the
name.
whole way through. I mean, shit.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap up the headlines. I got to pee real bad. We got a musical break coming up right now.
Nice.
We have a new musical guest. His name is AKUA the God. We actually we worked with this guy at Tokyo Joe's.
Good dude.
Real good dude. I had a lot of fun with him. He's got a new project, like I said, called AKUA the God. He labels it as powerful hip hop. So we're giving you guys a little bit of a curveball. It's not rock. It's not, something like that. We're going down with a little bit of hip hop. So stick around. This song is called In Line, and we will be right back.
Yeah. Let's go. Ready for anything. I put these punks in a hole. I ain't talking about ketamine. Dropping the guillotine, pouring the kerosene. Light it all up while I watch with the mezzanine. In and out of the limousine. Straight to the door as I walk through the nicotine. Light it all up, got them feeling they grenadine. Hold more stripes than the shorts on Butterbean. Due diligence. Blow through this money, but time is not frivolous. Power is limitless. Power's Leviathan. Power is Wesley Snipes at a cryogen. Calling the fireman. Need something genuine. Go ask your girl if she thinks I'm a gentleman. Go ask your girl if I ate it like venison. I am the god. I am adrenaline. Zion. Thinks I'm dyslexic, I hit it wrong guard. Get it with a chick and she like
And we are back. You just heard AKUA the God. The name of the song is In Line. Like I said, this is a buddy back from me and Chad used to work at Tony Joe's. Still a good friend.
His name's also Chad.
Yeah, double the Chads, double the fun. So yeah, he's doing some cool shit right now with AKUA the God. They got the God division. He's like doing a whole like production. He does all the production himself. He writes all the songs himself, obviously. And he's trying now to like get a bunch of artists underneath him in the God division. So he's doing big and awesome things, and that's why we wanted to feature him this month as the musical guest. If you could, please go like and share his Facebook page, his Instagram page, and make sure to follow him on Spotify or wherever you get music. And if you are looking to catch him or get some merch, please go to AKUAthegod.com. You can find when he's performing next, all of his merch, and probably buy music directly from him, and that, like we always say, helps immensely to buy directly from us. So let us get into the shot at the turn, Chad. We're at the halfway point.
I'm ready for it.
Are you?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it, buddy.
All right. Here's to the new spot.
Here's to the Nuggets pulling off this and clinching if they win
for
tonight.
the first time in franchise history, clinching the first place in the Western Conference.
Got to pull it off tonight. Got to win in Houston.
To the Nuggets.
Beat the Rockets.
They're the Rockets. Please do it.
They said tonight, too, that we're 10-0 against them in the last 10 games, so we've got to keep that streak going. Woo!
Oh, the second one was a little bit rougher than the first.
It kind of was, man. That Kentucky bourbon. Put some hair on your chest. Mainly my nipples. They don't get hair on my chest. They get hair on my
Let's
nipples.
get into the NBA fast break.
Shall we?
Yes, and as per usual, we are going to start in the Eastern Conference. And in the Eastern Conference, we do have the Milwaukee Bucks, who are the best team in the NBA right now.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
You look at record, you look at the way the whole team plays. They're sitting at 56-22. Giannis helps the can't-miss Bucks with a 33 point, 14 rebounds, and 16 assists in the 117-104 victory over the Sixers on Sunday.
Big win.
Chad just mentioned before we started recording, they're at 116 to what?
Yeah, I had this pulled up. I'm slacking.
They're playing the Wizards. So
they are
should
playing the
blow 'em
Wizards.
out.
Easy game, but they have 119 points. They're up by 15. With 8 minutes left to go in the fourth.
Oh, they might score
They might put
130.
140,
Yeah, maybe 140.
But we got to
Stuff.
mention, they did lose by like 39 points to the Celtics a few nights ago, right?
Yeah, that wasn't a very good look. I think it might have been more. There's 41 points, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was more than that. At one point, the Celtics were up by 46.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It was not a good game for them, but I think this game between the Sixers and Giannis and the Bucks is what has decided the MVP. Giannis outperformed Embiid in this one as they move one step closer to clinching the top spot in the Eastern Conference. I think I'm okay with Jokic not winning the MVP. I want him to, just for his legacy, because I think he is going to go down as one of the best players to ever play basketball. I think it's just a matter of time before he's starting to get talked in that ilk, if you will, or in that roster of guys. That's a pretty small roster right now. But I think it needs to go to somebody else. I think honestly now, if he does get it, it's just going to add more negative shit to the narrative about him.
Yeah.
And I think he just needs to focus on winning a championship.
I agree. And Jokic is fine with it. And that's why I think I'm so fine with him not winning, because he doesn't even want it. And so
He literally
because
does
of
not
that,
care.
He doesn't want it. And like I said to you the other day, I wouldn't doubt it if he went to Malone the other day and was like, listen, my calf kind of hurts a little bit. If I sit out these next games, I don't think I'll get the MVP. And I know if he would have probably kept playing, because after Embiid sat out and bitched out against not playing against Jokic the other night, that put him pretty much in the lead to win. They were pretty much tied, but the narrative would have probably tipped it to Jokic.
Yeah.
And I think that is right after that game is when he started sitting out games. So I wouldn't doubt if he went to Malone and was like, listen, it's going to fuck with my head in the playoffs because they're going to constantly talk about me getting the MVP if
not deserving it,
not
and all this
deserving
bullshit.
all shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather just get to the playoffs. And I bet Malone was just like, all right, fine. You know, we'll try to win without you. We can do it. And it's great. Look at what Peyton Watson's doing. Peyton Watson's
that was
having
one
a great
of the things
game.
I was saying was like, I think one of the nice things, we'll get into this a little bit, we're in the Eastern Conference, so we're not going to digress on the Nuggets too much, but seeing those guys get the opportunity, I think, was huge for Malone to get some ideas for shit he can do in the playoffs.
I agree.
Having Peyton Watson come in and play the way he did.
Christian Brown continuing to step up.
And then, oh, fuck, what's his name?
Brown, not Braun.
Brown, yeah.
Thank you.
Christian Braun. It's Brown, though.
It is
Braun.
It is spelled
Braun.
like that. It's weird.
There's another guy whose name I can't remember right now. It's a weird one. But
Zeke Naji?
No. There's another
For the
guy.
Nuggets?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He got some minutes the other night, and he looked pretty good. But Peyton Watson was a shining star that would not have gotten a chance to do that had Jokic played. But let me get into the Celtics because, like Chad said, Tatum pours in 39 and 11 assists as the Celtics silence the shorthanded Jazz 122-114. This was the second half of a back-to-back where, like Chad mentioned, the first night they beat the Bucks by 41 points.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of points. That's a lot of points.
Yep.
But the Celtics had a little bit of issues getting out of Milwaukee. They actually didn't end up landing in they didn't actually end up landing in Utah until like 6 hours before the game. So they had to rush and get to the arena. They had a little bit of not the best run up to the game, but they still pulled through and they ended up winning. So
Yep.
that's huge. They're trying to get the top spot back. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. It's possible, but yeah, it's
pretty close.
Yeah, they're sitting at 54-24, so they've got games to catch up to, and we're running out of games, unfortunately. So, yeah, but
right now they are down by 7 to the 76ers.
Yeah, so they're playing the 76ers tonight
on prime time on TNT.
Prime time TNT.
Let's see how many points
inside the
Embiid
NBA
has at half. He has 24 at half. Fuck.
And probably 12 of those are free throws.
Yeah, let me look at here. He has 7 free throws at halftime.
Okay, well, this works out because we're going to roll into the 76ers right now. They are in third place in the Eastern Conference, sitting at 51-27. Embiid did score 28 points and had 9 rebounds and 5 assists in that game against the Bucks. Harden had 11 points and 6 assists, and Maxey added 29 points in the beatdown from the Bucks. They are playing the Celtics tonight, as Chad just said. What were they up?
7.
So they're up 7. That's going to roll us into the fourth place Cavs sitting at 49-30. The fifth place Knicks sitting at 46-33, and the sixth place Nets sitting at 43-35. That's going to wrap it up for the Eastern Conference. We are going to move into the Western Conference, where our Nuggets could possibly and potentially should lock up first place in the Western Conference for the first time in their history.
It would be really a miracle if they lost the number 1 spot, because thankfully Memphis blew an 18-point lead. No, actually, I think it was like a 23-point lead or something like that to the Bulls the other night. And lost.
It was. Fuck, I have it written down. Oh shit, they were down. Yeah, at one point I forget how much it was, but yeah, they had 18 turnovers though. That was what killed them.
Wow, damn. Yeah, so luckily they lost, which really helped the Nuggets out. And that same game, that same day, the Nuggets beat the Warriors without Jokic. That was huge.
Yeah, and the Warriors were only really missing Wiggins. Other than that, they're pretty much healthy. Let's see what happened in that game. The Jokerless...
Nice.
Jokic. I combined Joker and Jokic into one word. The Jokerless Nuggets take down, for the most part, like we said, the healthy Golden State Warriors 112-110 Sunday night. Behind Jamal Murray's 26 points and some crucial blocks at the end of the game. That one on Draymond, and then he did get that block on Klay Thompson in the final seconds to block that three-pointer.
He was pumped up, man.
He was. That's the Jamal Murray you need to see in the playoffs every single game.
And we need to see that just every single game,
yeah, always.
Man.
That's
if
the problem.
You're our shooting guard, you got to play like that every single game.
Yeah, and the thing is that block was needed as the Warriors had scored the final 9 points of that game.
They were on a surge.
Looking like they could possibly win it.
Yep.
The Nuggets just went cold there at the end of the game. MPJ had 19 points and 11 rebounds. That was one thing that we've been talking about him is those rebounds are huge.
Yep.
This was stuff he did not do in the beginning of the year or at all last year.
He needs to do it more tonight. He's just kind of been absent tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully he has a better second half. But yeah, MPJ had a good game. Gordon added 13 points and 10 rebounds, so both of them get double-doubles. With a win against the Rockets, like we said, they'll lock up the first seed. So let's hope they can do that. Right now they're up, what was it?
3.
3? Okay.
Yep.
So they're up 3. And the second half is about to start. So let us move into the Grizz, which Chad just mentioned. They blew a really big lead the other night, and it's something that you can't really do at this point when you're vying for position in the playoffs.
Yeah, not at all.
So yeah, the Levine and DeRozan led a surge to rally and beat the Grizz Sunday, 128-107. Ja Morant, Jesus Christ, had a triple-double, 17 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds. Jaren Jackson, though, I think is the actual shining star.
He really is, man.
He's the Grizz.
Shown up.
Yeah, he shows up all the time. He in this game, 31 points, 8 rebounds. Desmond Bane had 21 points. Unfortunately, they committed those 18 turnovers, leading to 31 points for the Bulls, which was what killed them there at the end. I mean, you can't give 31 points on turnovers.
That Bulls team's good, too, man. They're very underrated.
They really are, and they're a team that I think could, given the right circumstances, make a push for the playoffs in the next couple of years. They get a couple more pieces.
I agree. Yeah, so, totally.
Let's move into the Grizz take on Portland tonight. So Trailblazers have already shut down some people
in Portland. I don't think that game started yet. Right?
I don't think so.
Wait, they're up by the Grizzlies are up by 4 at halftime.
Okay,
the Blazers.
well,
that's kind of
beat
surprising because the Blazers are without Dame, so that should be a pretty easy game for them.
That's what I'm thinking. They should pretty much roll on the Blazers with everybody sitting like that.
I like being able to move this thing around. It kind of feels legit. It's like, I'm going to sit over here.
Yeah.
I love this mic stand, dude. Probably loosening it up over there.
Probably. We need to get nicer ones that are like make no noise when you touch them. They got like springs. Right. Mine's broken. I got to fix it.
Yep.
Damn it.
Still upgrading.
The move killed it. So, yeah, we're going to get into the Sacramento Kings right now. 47-31. They did finally clinch a playoff spot. Now the Jets have the longest playoff drought in professional sports.
Nice.
The Broncos aren't too far behind, unfortunately. So I really hope the Broncos get into the playoffs this year so we can get rid of that whole thing. Leave that with the Jets. But so McDermott, the person who I talked about the last time we recorded, and Chad had no idea who he was. Doug McDermott scores 22 of his 30 points in the fourth to lead the Spurs past the Kings 142-134. The Spurs deny the Kings a chance at clinching the Pacific Division. DeAndre Fox did score 28 points, and Sabonis.
De'Aaron Fox?
I just said DeAndre. Fox. Oh, did I say DeAndre?
Okay. Yeah, I was just
I thought
confused.
I just said Fox. De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. I'm sorry. De'Aaron Fox scored 28 points, and Sabonis added another 26 as the Kings remain 2 games behind the Grizz. They are taking on the Pelicans tonight.
And they are up by 11 right now at halftime to the Pelicans, man. The Pelicans, they seem to give the Nuggets a lot of trouble. So
the Pelicans is one of those teams that you just feel bad all the injuries they had and I
don't know what it is.
They never could get off the ground.
Is it Brandon or Bobby Ingram? I always mix
Brandon Ingram.
Brandon. He balls out every time he plays the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I don't know what he has against him. It's like Kobe and the Nuggets, man. Did you ever hear about that story? A little digression right now, if that's the noun.
I saw something about
Karl.
George Karl and Kobe. I did not.
I read that article because I never really knew, but I guess it was because
it's over the All-Star game or something.
So luckily when I was during this move, I kind of had a couple moments to just kind of read a bunch of articles I've had pulled up for a while. And yeah, it was during the All-Star game, George Karl, it was in the 98 All-Star game when Kobe was a rookie. George Karl was the Supersonics head coach and he was the West head coach for the All-Star game. he sat Kobe in the fourth quarter when Kobe and Michael Jordan were just dueling back and forth. I mean, it was an amazing game. Kobe was loving it. Michael was loving it. He had all the respect in the world for this rookie. And then for whatever reason, George Karl just benched him in the fourth quarter. And you know Kobe, he's got that Michael gene.
I feel like, though, unfortunately, in that situation, you're like, dude, I don't want you to get hurt and for that to be on me. You know what I mean? I feel like that's probably where
maybe it kind of seemed personal, because if you look at some of George Karl's comments on it and comments towards Kobe and Michael in the future, it seems like it was definitely personal. And because of that, Kobe came out and said in an interview, after that, I made sure I was never going to lose to the Nuggets in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it never happened.
The best shot we had to make it, the
conference
Lakers
finals
just fucked them up.
Yep.
It was... They had a chance in the beginning, but then it's just like once they took their foot... That's the thing that's been the problem with the Nuggets for a long time now, is they do not put people out of their misery.
Yeah.
When they're up on teams, they do not want to just like stomp them out. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Believe me, as a Chiefs fan,
that's what happened in that series.
Yeah, I hate it so much with Andy Reid. He becomes like a good Samaritan when it comes in the fourth quarter and stuff. He's like, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings. It's like, no, this is sports. Beat them.
That's kind of what we ran into the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark thing. I mean,
yeah.
you talk shit when you
be
win.
Cutthroat. You know,
Yeah.
I respect that. That's one thing I've always respected about Bill Belichick. He'll run up the score on you.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Speaking of which, we didn't mention this in now that you mentioned Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I remember
too. Well, did you hear they're shopping Mac Jones?
I did hear that, man. I did. I was like,
what
what the
Mac
fuck,
Jones, dude?
man?
You're like, aw,
who are you gonna
thought
get?
you liked me. I don't know. I mean, they could try and trade. I mean, trade for Trey Lance. Mac Jones is the backup there, and I don't know, man.
I love it, dude. I love it because it's like he did Nick Saban a favor that was like, hey, we'll draft your boy, you know, because him and Belichick are best friends.
Yeah,
and then he did all right. He got him to the playoffs, but a lot of that was due to their awesome defense that year. But you know, you look at this now, and it's like, shit, man. Like, this is a train wreck.
Yeah, I feel bad for him just because, like, that guy's done nothing but try and do his best for the team, and they're just like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on from you, buddy.
Yeah, he really is the quintessential, like, college quarterback that's, you know, just not going to make it in the NFL.
Hey, he looked like Tom Brady when he came out of college, all right? Frumpy. Nobody knew who he was.
That's true. He did look like his photo looked a lot like that. But to circle back, the Nuggets do need to do that, especially tonight. There we go. There's MPJ hitting a three. Stomp on their throat. Let's get the number one
they're
seed.
Up 65 to 59, 9:51 left.
But I found that story
quarter.
pretty cool. How Kobe was just because that's why.
Dude, that's how he was though.
Yeah,
Jordan. Everybody is like that, like,
and that's why I
pissed me off. And it's like, dude, I'm gonna never let it go.
That's why I disregard this like LeBron GOAT talk and shit like that. Yeah, he had an extra 3 years.
Michael Jordan never would have teamed up with anybody else.
Never, dude.
He didn't even like his own teammates.
No. Shaq even came out and said that. He's like, dude, I didn't know we could do that. Shit. I mean,
they were basically the first super team.
Well, the Miami was. I think I'm thinking of the wrong player.
Well, I think when the Lakers grabbed Shaq, I think that was the first super team. When you think
Kobe
about
and
it,
him,
it was like
that
the
was one and
combining
two
of powers. You know what
I mean, they eventually brought in like Karl Malone and Gary Payton. That was the first super team, I believe. Yeah, but excuse me, it was just like, you know, you don't. LeBron doesn't have that, man. I have seen clips where somebody trash talked him and he came down there and threw it down. Yeah, but it's different, man. It's different, dude. I watched that house party,
the new one.
Holy fuck!
You watched it?
I didn't finish. No, I didn't finish it because it was kind of funny. And then 3/4 into the movie, it starts involving the Illuminati, and then there's like murders and stuff that starts happening and shit, like
In
real
House Party?
life fucking killing and shit.
Is it still a comedy though, or is it like at that point?
It tries
like
to be. It
suspense
tries to
movie?
be, man. They even bring in a kid and play, and I tried telling Hannah, I was like, I was a kid staying up late on BET watching House Party. I'm like, what is this movie? And it was hilarious.
Yeah,
I love those movies, man.
Yeah.
There was like fucking 4 of them, but
was there 4 or 3?
I don't know. There's
Either
a
way,
lot,
there's
dude.
more
There
than
was
there
just a
needed
lot.
to be. Yeah,
but
and the fact they remade it, it's like, what the fuck,
dude?
Did
it
they
just
remake
goes
How
to
High
show.
too.
I don't
new
think.
people?
I mean, I think there was a How High 2, maybe. I don't know.
I can't remember, but either way, it's just like,
Dude,
it always happens,
LeBron
dude.
James movies
Was he in it, or did he just?
I don't know if I thought eventually he would come into it because it's at his house, you know, it's in fictional whatever his house. But yeah, because I mean, there's people that steal his calves ring and all this. Like a lot of it circles around, like is about him. But it was horrible. I did not
know any of this.
Do not watch House Party. Please don't, man. It is so bad. Like it's the same thing with Space Jam. I was so hyped about Space Jam, but no.
Dude, I realized, horrible. And it wasn't until Meryl brought it up, but I said on the podcast that we watched the new Space Jam. We didn't.
Oh, really?
We just had watched the old one, and I was like, that's the same fucking movie, isn't it?
It's great. It's 1,000 times better. Michael Jordan, anything he does is better than LeBron.
I remember when that shit came out back in the day, dude. It was wild.
It was crazy,
such a cool movie.
We're like, so awesome.
It's LeBron, or it's Michael Jordan and fucking Looney Tunes, man.
It's like LeBron's
and then LeBron's like, you know what I'm gonna do? Everybody compares me to Michael Jordan, so I'm just gonna go make my own.
And it doesn't work out.
No.
House Party? No. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
One of the reasons I watch it because of Andrew Santino. I'm a huge fan of his comedy.
Oh yeah, he's good.
He's in it for like 10 seconds.
So have you watched Dave?
Oh, dude, I love Dave. Yeah. Dave's hilarious.
That was the first time I heard of Andrew Santino.
Oh no shit. Yeah.
Yeah, we were watching that, and I was like, and you know what's funny? I didn't even know that until I started, listening to not Tiger Belly, Bad Friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck is this guy Bobby Lee's talking to? And I looked at him, I was like, holy shit, it's the guy from Dave.
When I saw Rogan, he opened up for him, and it was before I really knew him. He was just an opener, and I was like, this dude's fucking funny, man. Yeah. He's awesome.
Did you watch his new special cheeseburger?
Yeah, it was fantastic, dude. Good. Santino, he's a killer.
I meant to ask you, what do you think about Bert's new special? It's good.
I recommended it to my mom. Okay. Like, I love, and she loves good comedy. Like I said, we went and saw Joe Coy. Like, I consider myself a stand-up. I've said a connoisseur of stand-up. Okay. We recently tried a new one on Netflix. Her name was Mae Martin. Couldn't really quite get into it too much. Netflix tries to bring up these like up-and-comers that I have no idea on. But anyway, it's because Bert's.
A lot of those comics are moving away from Netflix now and just releasing them all on YouTube. Speaking of which, it's the 4th. Tomorrow,
fucking Sicklers. Yeah.
Lefty's son.
I can't wait to watch that, man.
Yeah, I think at midnight tonight. I might watch it tonight.
You know, I have never even seen a stand-up.
Really?
I never have, dude.
I watched a couple videos because there isn't, like, he doesn't have, you know, like, a bunch of specials like Tom Segura and shit like that. But I've watched a couple clips, and then he was on the Ari Shaffir show.
This is
not happening yet.
Oh, that's cool.
He was on one of those, and it was pretty funny. I love Ryan Sickler, dude. Did you listen to the episode about him almost dying?
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
It was nuts,
dude.
man. I felt really bad for him, man.
That's wild.
It's great. It's great. Like, that's what's so good about him is like he's so good at interviewing. He's like the funniest Barbara Walters out there, where he could take something so serious and make it funny.
It is crazy too, just like how he's even like able just like to keep the conversation on the rails sometimes when people are going off. I'm just like, damn, dude, you're really good at this, and it doesn't seem like you're trying. Anyways, we're going way off the rails.
Oh yeah.
We need to finish up the Western Conference. So the Suns are sitting at 43-35. In 5th place, you have the Los Angeles Clippers at 41-38, and then in 6th place, you have the Golden State Warriors at 41-38. That is going to wrap up the NBA Fast Break. It wasn't as fast as it could have been because we decided to go on a bunch of tangents.
That's what happens with fast breaks, man. Sometimes they turn into turnovers and
start talking about Bill Belichick and then
dribble on. That's what's great about it. There's Jokic hitting a great jump shot.
But they're tied. Well, it's 67-65. I know. I don't like it.
It's stressful. We got to get a fan in here.
All right, let's get to a UFC 287, the preview. This is Chad Lee's.
Let's get into it.
This is his sweet spot.
This is my wheelhouse, man. I'm gonna not even look at the screen right now.
Don't.
You know what? We're gonna keep going off on these tangents. I really am superstitious because there's a lot of times where I don't watch the Nuggets. Like, you'll text me like, "Oh man, did you see this, whatever," and I'm like, it's because I get into these flows where shit's, you know, it's just like when I watch them, they fucking do bad like tonight, and so I'm gonna turn it over and face you right now.
You're going to have to stop because I'm going to have to go pee, but I want you to keep going with what you're about to talk about.
But anyway, I'm going to face this way again. Hopefully they start doing better.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
We got UFC 287 coming up this weekend in Miami. The first time the UFC's been in Miami in 20 plus years. Fucking amazing. So we're going to start off with the co-main event, then I'll get to the big main event. We got Gilbert Burns Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal. Game bred, the street fighter that came up through the YouTube backyard fighting with Kimbo Slice Masvidal. This is a huge fight. This is going to bring in a ton of pay-per-views. This is a guy that owns his own fight promotion, Game Bred Boxing. Jesus fucking, I'm not looking at TV. Goddamn nuggets. So, Gilbert Burns is a 4-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. He's a rare fighter with a complete arsenal of skill sets, striking, grappling, and submissions. This is a guy that, I mean, his resume just extends far and wide, where he recently fought Khamzat Chimaev, which has so much hype behind him, and that was a great fight because he gave Khamzat a good run for his money. And to me, I mean, I'll get to it at the end of it, but I think Gilbert is going to win this fight. Jorge's 37 years old. You wouldn't think of it. Like, look at him. He's got that Cuban kind of face where, you know, they don't really show it. Yeah. But Jorge, a guy that everyone knows the name because he's a guy that draws pay-per-views. He's done a great job building his brand and his resume. And he's beaten Nate Diaz, Ben Askren, probably one of the most notable knockouts in UFC history with that flying knee. Darren Till, Donald Cerrone. But what a lot of people seem to forget, he's 0-3 in his last 3 fights.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 1 to Colby and the last 2 to Usman. Obviously, those are great fighters, but the guy, when he does fight the elite of the elite, can't seem to get the win. Yeah. And a lot of that is because it's mixed martial arts. This is a guy that was fighting in backyards. All he knows is striking. He doesn't have any ground game. Any to speak of.
Yeah, a lot of people forget he came up with Kimbo Slice, basically.
He did.
Like those backyard things, like those videos that were going like super viral when Kimbo like almost knocked that guy's eye out of his head. Jorge was there right along with him, fighting that whole time in those same fights with Kimbo Slice. And I saw Jorge came out and just basically said, you know, in all of his career, Gilbert has never been on his level. He basically said, since I came in, I've been on a higher level than Gilbert has been the whole time.
I will always give the nod to Jorge for this trash talking because
He's
what
good
he
at
calls like wrestlers or jiu-jitsu guys is crotch sniffers.
Crotch sniffers.
And he says Gilbert's just another crotch sniffer. He's going to try to sniff my crotch. And you know what I do to those guys?
Punch him in the face.
He's hilarious, man. He is fucking funny. But and he did get rocked by Usman. He got knocked the fuck out. But
yeah, he didn't look good.
A lot of people seem to forget Gilbert's got very good striking. And a lot of people don't realize that he trains under Vito Belfort because they used to have an organization called, or a training camp, the Black Zillions. And that was nothing but killers. I mean, nothing but killers. And it was a camp where Gilbert started his career with, and it's somewhere where Vitor is still behind him, and that's why I've got Gilbert picked, is because I mean, as soon as Gilbert takes it to the ground, Jorge's fucked.
Yeah, definitely. And how long has it been since Jorge has fought? Has it been since that?
It's
Usman
been a year. I looked it up, and it's been since March 2022.
And that was the Usman fight, right?
It was the Colby fight.
Oh shit! Yeah. I forgot about the Colby fight.
And Colby dominated him in that fight, and that's what Colby's.
Didn't he have to give the BMF belt over that too?
No, that was the Nate Diaz fight. He beat Nate Diaz for the.
But I thought he had to give that belt to Kobe when he lost.
No,
because it was just like a random made up.
It was a stupid fuck. I hated that thing because it was.
I still didn't understand.
That's like, Dana being WWE. That's like, hey, here's a made up. Yeah, what I
21
I thought I had billion. That in the headlines too. I forgot. We forgot to bring that up.
We posted it on the on the page, but yeah, WWE and UFC have merged to make one of the largest entertainment sports entertainment next to the NFL. Basically, I mean, you're talking 21 fucking billion.
What is the NFL valued at right now?
I don't. Yeah,
can you look this up, real? Because I was really curious. So I'll cover Endeavor, which is the parent company of the UFC, merged with the WWE wrestling to make one company, valued at nearly $22 billion. The UFC was valued at. Last I had checked, this is like 5 years ago. No, I think it was like a couple years ago. I checked, it was like $7 billion.
No, what is it? No. That's insane, dude. Just the media rights are $111.8 billion.
What?
Yeah. The NFL increased its media rights by 82% to an astounding 111.8 billion in March of 21. This implies that the total payout to the 32 NFL franchises will climb from around 220 billion to almost 377 billion between now and 2032. That's just the fucking media rights, dude.
That's nuts, man. Well,
We're talking. Well, I don't even know how. There's trillions are wild. I don't know how
you can't find out how much just the league is worth. I'm curious. Well,
I don't know how you value that though. I don't even know if they know how to value it.
I would just Google what's NFL worth, not just media. Because
that's what I did.
I don't know.
What is the whole NFL worth? It's all the media rights. I guess.
I'm sure that's factored
the media
into
rights are the NFL.
Yeah, I mean they get the money for that.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean you look at the teams. The Commanders are going to sell for what, $6 billion. The Broncos just sold for $4 billion. So you're looking at 32 teams worth on average. Let's just say $5 billion. Yeah, that's a lot of fucking money right there. But yeah, it's all the TV rights. Yeah, it's insane.
So when the UFC sold in 2016, they sold for $4 billion. Now when they made this deal, they were valued at $12 billion. So they've tripled in 7 years. That's what Endeavor does, and that's why the WWE kind of backed back into that, because they think like, okay, we can make this happen. And there's rumor what they're going to do is it's not so much, and we'll get into this more next week. I don't want to like get into it too much right now because I'm kind of pissed about it, honestly. Like I'm not happy about it. There's already been so much fishy shit going on with the UFC.
That was gonna be my next thing. Is like, so you're taking in a scripted sports entertainment thing, and you've got this other thing that's not scripted, but people are already kind of thinking it is. Yeah. Like, doesn't that kind of make a conflict of interest within the
so stupid? I mean, you're probably gonna have wrestlers that want to fight in the UFC. You're gonna have.
We've already done that.
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar.
No, I said like wrestler. Well, that yes, yeah, that. But I mean, even vice versa, where there's UFC guys that are gonna be like, "Well, I got this fight coming up. Let me show up to this event. I'll do a quick little wrestling match, and I'll promote my next fight."
Yeah,
like it's just I don't like it at all, and I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but we'll see what's gonna happen. But this is what I was gonna get to is that there's rumored to be a streaming service that each of them will be able to take advantage of, where already right now you can subscribe to like WWE Network or whatever and watch like the whole history of it. Same with UFC. You can subscribe to UFC Fight Pass, watch like UFC 6 if you wanted to. Well, I believe they're going to try to merge those media conglomerates, and then you'll have a streaming service just like a Peacock or Paramount Plus where you can watch everything. So we'll see. I mean, it's a huge deal. It's a very big deal. We'll see what happens to it. I'm sure it's gonna make like the value of each just skyrocket. But regardless, it's fucking nuts, man. It's a huge merger. $21 billion.
Yeah, and then until you read about the NFL, and it's like, oh, that's not that much money.
Yeah, I know. Right? Shouldn't even brought that.
Well, that's the co-main event. Let's get into the main event.
Well, yeah, like I said, I just want to recap that I do think Gilbert Burns will beat Jorge because I think he's going to take him down. And Gilbert Burns, his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is just so next level. And he's such a good dude. I like Gilbert a lot. And Jorge is as entertaining as he is. I mean, he's like a Nate Diaz. He's like a Conor McGregor. He's the bad guy. He's a villain. But he's a trash talker, shit talker, and he's a street fighter where, he's going to draw those pay-per-view buys. But when it comes down to the martial art of things, Gilbert Burns is way more of that.
Yeah, and it's just like we were talking about. He's been out of fighting for a year. His last couple fights didn't go the way you would have thought. I mean, aside from the BMF fight where he won. But, I mean, I don't know how much more he has left in the tank, really, because it does seem like he's on the decline a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. I think you are right. I think Gilbert's probably going to win this one, just from my little bit of knowledge, my overview, if you will. But, yeah, I think, if you want to put some money on Jorge to knock him out as like a flyer bet, I don't see that being.
I need to start doing that, looking at the money lines of these. I didn't look into that. But Jorge did say in the UFC countdown that if he loses this is probably it for him.
Jorge? Oh yeah. I mean, I can see why. It's just,
it totally makes sense. But moving on to the main event. Big rematch here. for the second time in the UFC and 4th overall, Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya will be
The rematch.
facing off.
This doesn't seem like it happened that long ago, honestly.
No, that's what's great about Israel is I saw something where he's fought 10 times in the last 4 years. He was a really good fighter where he sticks to his regiment of sticking in there and he never gets injured. And he doesn't try to hold out or anything like that. He is a loyal UFC fighter for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, he comes from that background of kickboxing where these guys fight like every other week, I feel like.
They fight a lot.
If you watch some of his kickboxing fights from back in the day, some of those highlights where like he's like he won't sit down in the corner and shit, and like just to like fuck with his opponents. He's just like, no, I'm gonna stand. Just like it's pretty wild, but
that's fucking awesome.
Israel Adesanya, I think, is one of those guys who I felt like helped bring UFC to where it's at now, so to speak, along with like Conor McGregor. Those two guys have kind of been like the, I guess, poster boys for like really furthering the UFC. They're the ones that you always talk about, you hear about. That and John Jones, but John Jones has his own issues that he can't seem to get out of and keep fighting without.
I think John Jones kind of cemented himself as the GOAT in that last pay-per-view. But, I mean, Israel was really on that climb to be in those talks before he lost to Pereira last time. And this is a guy that he can't beat.
I think he severely misjudged Pereira, which is such a hard name to say, Pereira.
Yep.
Pereira. He misjudged Pereira, and it worked against him because, I mean, I think as a whole, Pereira might be that guy that is, you know, the Adesanya stopper at this point. And
he really is.
We'll find out right now on this one, because if he wins again, I don't know what the point of a trilogy is. I mean, I guess to give, obviously, to make money off of Israel getting another chance.
I think Israel would have to fight maybe like a Hamzat or Robert Whittaker again or something, work his way back, because.
And Whittaker was one of those guys that was right there. He was like a next up and comer, and then all of a sudden he just fell off a fucking cliff.
Well, he's like kind of like Colby with Usman, where he just couldn't beat Israel. You know, he's a guy that is a damn good fighter, a really good guy
Colby.
Too. Another New Zealand fighter too.
Colby's name too.
Colby? I can't stand Covington, man. I don't care about the character. I don't care about him.
I forget who it was that someone said, you want to know why he's always wearing sunglasses in interviews? So we can read the script without you seeing his eyes.
That's awesome. That's fucking funny. I believe it too, man. He's a piece of shit. And so that's just the way it goes. But when it comes down to this fight, man, in their first UFC fight, Israel nearly knocked him out in the first round. I mean, it was so close. If there was another 10 seconds in that round, he probably would have knocked Alex out. But, luckily the bell saved him, and the rest of the fight, Israel controlled most of it until the final round when Israel kind of met Pereira's power. Like, really, Pereira turned it on. Like, you could hear his corner saying, like, this is it. You got to do something here. And
otherwise
hear
the fight's over.
Pereira saying, I'm ready to die. And that's when he just, like, emptied the tank, and that was it. And he caught Israel with a few shots, and that's just it. It's like, Pereira's a guy that probably walks around. This is a middleweight fight. So it's at 185, I believe. And I bet Pereira probably walks around at like 225, 230. It's insane how much weight he cuts for this.
Yeah, I saw something where it was him next to somebody else that was a heavyweight, and they did not look that much different.
No, yeah. He was training that Chinese fighter, sparring against him. And it's nuts. Like, they do look the same because he's a tall guy. He's big. But somehow or another, he's able to make that weight cut. And as long as he's able to make that weight, I don't see anybody beating him at that. Especially Israel, who's just tall and lanky. He's an exceptional striker. I mean, he's called the style bender for a reason because he moves like Anderson Silva. Like, he just kind of bounces all over the place. You never know where he's coming from.
Yeah, I was thinking about like Anderson Silva. He just lay on the ground all of a sudden. People like, what the fuck is he doing?
And the difference is Anderson Silva had some of the best jiu-jitsu in the game. But that's not really Israel's, strong point. But as soon as
he's definitely more of a striker, and I think that's due to being the Muay Thai fighter background.
Yeah, with the kickboxing and stuff.
Kickboxing, Muay Thai, yeah.
And that's one thing I wanted to mention is Alex trains in Connecticut. Fucking Connecticut. With Glover Teixeira. in a gym that looks like it's in fucking Cobra Kai. Like it's out of a mini mall, man. I mean, this is not American Top Team. This is like a small, tiny, very low advanced equipment and stuff. But the difference is, you know, it kind of brings that more small town. We don't need that big fame. We don't want like a big gym. We're here to get work done. It's like when Rocky went and trained in Russia in a fucking farmhouse, you know, in Rocky IV.
Running up hills and shit.
Yeah, in the snow, you know. That's what this is about, is just getting to the roots of it, and that's what Pereira does. And he also, for this camp, went to Thailand to train and pick up some Muay Thai expertise for his already deadly kickboxing background. I mean, for him to train in Thailand, which there's some of the best gyms in the world, I mean, like you said, those guys fight weekly. Yeah. And for him to add that to his arsenal, I don't see Israel pulling it out in this one. I've got Pereira picked in this.
Yeah, I think Adesanya, I think it'd be a good bet to take just because he's got more to lose, I think, in this fight. Just to get to Pereira's level, I mean, he's got to beat him at least once at this point. So, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it, man. Like, after that, watching that whole last was the fight night. Was that the last one, or was it 86? It was the fight night.
Which one did you watch? What was the fight?
I'm trying to think what the last time we fucking recorded was.
Well, Cheeto and Sandhagen.
It was the women's fight. Yeah, the Sandhagen fight. Yeah,
that was the fight night.
Yeah. So Sandhagen, like the last two UFCs have been really good.
Yeah.
So I'm getting into it. So
I'm glad, man. I'm happy about that.
We're able to talk about it a little more.
Hell yeah, dude!
Nice.
It's entertaining as fuck, man. I love it. Sandhagen, he really ruled the roost.
Yeah, Sandhagen dominated in that one.
Did.
The fact they called it a split was blasphemous.
Yeah, that was nuts, man. Should
have been unanimous.
Yeah, there's a lot of criticism of that judge that gave it to Cheeto.
Well, and even Dana's like, "Are you kidding me?" And that's what's so crazy to me, like, how these judges can be so far off. You deal with that with umps and refs and whatever sport, but it's just crazy to me, especially when something that's so monitored like boxing.
Yeah,
you think they would be a little bit better on vetting some of these judges,
and that's just the problem, is they're using judges that are their background is boxing.
Yeah, well, I think the state has to appoint those judges, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I don't know for sure.
There needs to be judges that are meant for mixed martial arts. Like Dana needs to figure out something with the commission to where he brings in either old fighters or something to where you look at, okay, this is ground control time, or they attempted a submission. That's got to get taken into account, and so it's getting to the point where it's getting ridiculous, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's why I was so worried about this whole merger, but we'll see what happens. So I'm a diehard fan. I'm going to watch it no matter what.
Will. On that note, though, we are going to get into the penalty box. We're going to fly through it because we're eating up time right now. So I'm going to try to get this done in like 7 minutes.
I got faith.
I got faith in me too.
Yep.
So we're going to get into the penalty box now. So we're going to start with the Atlantic Division. In first place, you have the Boston Bruins. They have 125 points, like we mentioned earlier. They have 60 wins, like we mentioned earlier. 12 losses, 5 overtime losses. We did mention, like I said, the Bruins became the 4th team in NHL history to eclipse 60 wins, and they do so in a 4-3 shootout over the St. Louis Blues Sunday. Trent Frederick, a St. Louis native, had 2 assists for the Bruins, and Linus Ullmark had 35 saves. They have now won 3 straight and have won 10 of their last 11. They are doing. They're the best team in hockey. It's
no doubt
pretty much locked up right now. Yeah. They've locked up the President's Trophy. The 125 points is the most in franchise history. They take on the Maple Leafs Thursday. They're the team to beat in all of NHL. So we'll see how that goes. We will move into the second place Toronto team, the Maple Leafs, that they will be playing on Thursday. They have 100 points, 25 points behind the Bruins. No chance of catching them. 45 wins, 21 losses, and 10 overtime losses. In third place, you have the Tampa Bay Lightning. Again, this team is the closest thing to a dynasty I think we have in the NHL as of right now. Tampa Bay Lightning, 96 points, 45 wins, 26 losses, and 6 overtime losses, completely ready to make another push for the Stanley Cup playoffs. But they've got a hell of an uphill battle against the Bruins. We'll move into the Metropolitan League, and if you have anything you want to interject, Chad, just let it rip.
I will.
In first place, we have the Hurricanes. Remember, you were going to check scores.
Good call, dude. I'm sitting here fucking watching the
We're
game.
moving up, dude. We're just fucking
Thank
remembering
you.
shit. Okay, so in the Metropolitan League, in first place, you have the Carolina Hurricanes sitting at 107 points, 49 wins, 18 losses, and 9 overtime losses. The Canes take down the New York Islanders 2-1 and continue to pad their lead in the Metro Division. Jordan Martinook broke the tie and scored what would be the game winner in the third period, and Frederick Anderson made 21 saves for the Canes, who have won 2 in a row, and they are 3 points ahead of the Devils in the division. They take on the Senators tonight.
They just scored a goal in overtime to the Senators. They're up 3-2.
Well, they just scored a goal in overtime. That game's over.
Yep.
So they won that game 3-2 then, if that's the case, unless it was a shootout.
Nope.
That's the only problem.
When do they do? What is the difference between shootouts and
So
overtime? When,
they do the one period of overtime,
yeah.
3-on-3. If there is no scores, then they go to a 3-on-3
So you mean they only
shootout.
put 3 skaters on the ice? Oh, I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah, some people don't like
Plus
it.
the goalie?
Yeah, so 4 total.
Okay.
But some people don't like it. When it first happened, it was fucking awesome, dude. It's like they have a 3-on-3 hockey league that travels around in the summertime.
Wow.
That you can go watch a bunch of. It's like the 3-on-3 NBA
Basketball kind of thing.
bunch
yeah.
of old dudes still playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super fun. But yeah, it started to get a little bit. I don't know. It's not as good as it was when it first came about.
Right.
But yeah, it's still, I think, one of the better ways. The shootouts, it still sucks, but an NHL shootout is fucking fun to watch. Soccer probably
love
is
it.
too, but
Yeah.
watching a goalie and a guy, and then it's just like the goalie and the
One-on-one.
guy one
Yep.
after the
I
other.
love
It's
it, man.
a
High
fucking
pressure.
cool way to end a game. But yeah, oh shit! So they take on the Senators tonight. You just said they beat the Senators. We will move on to the second place New Jersey Devils. They are sitting at 104 points, 48 wins, 21 losses, and 8 overtime losses. And then that moves us into the Islanders, who the Canes beat up on the other day. They are at 101 points, 45 wins, 21 losses, and 11 overtime losses. Those overtime losses seriously just like do so much for you. Get that extra point.
Get that
in a
extra
loss.
point.
But we'll move into the Central Division, which we care the most about. The first place Stars are tied with the Wild, both at 98 points. The Stars have 42 wins, 21 losses, and 14 overtime losses. That's the thing about the Stars. They win so many games in overtime. Well, they're winning by getting that extra point, even though they technically lose. Because
Yeah.
look at how it goes. You got 14 extra points off of losses. So Dallas hammers Nashville 5-1. The Stars clinch a playoff berth after that win. Jason Robertson in the game passes 100 points with a goal and 3 assists. He has 43 goals and 58 assists in 77 games. He is the first player to do so for the franchise since Dino Ciccarelli did and had 103 back in the 86 and 87 season, which was when me and Chad were born. Pavelski had a goal and an assist, and Miro Heiskanen had 2 assists. The Stars are tied with the Wild in the Central Division. They take on the Flyers Thursday night. Like I said, technically in second, but tied for first is the Wild with 98 points, 44 wins, 23 losses, and 10 overtime losses, which is going to take us to the Avs in third place. The Avs sitting at 96 points. We normally don't talk about anybody past the first place team, but it's the Avs and we're in Colorado, so we're going to talk about them. Rantanen has a goal and 3 assists as McKinnon scores twice for the Avalanche. They roll the Stars and continue to fight for the position in the Central down the stretch. They take on the Sharks tonight. That game starts at 8:30. I think they actually have to play
game.
the Sharks twice this week, and the Sharks are a team you do not want to face right now. They are looking to fuck up people's playoffs hopes. So.
Yeah, it's crazy because they're like 22, 39, and 15. So they're not good, but like you said, they want to spoil a bunch of playoff
It's
hopes.
just like the Hawks that we're watching right now, dude. These are the teams that don't have anything to play for. That would
The
love
Rockets?
nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. What
Yeah,
did I
the
say?
Rockets. You said the Hawks.
Oh shit, the Rockets. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
on hockey. The Rockets right now. These teams don't want to fucking lose to the best team. You know,
Yeah.
they want to ruin their chances of seeding or playoff spots or whatever. So you're gonna get their Super Bowl best on any given night,
That's
which
what they're
sucks.
doing.
But yeah, the Avs. They're getting healthy. There's a possibility Landeskog, Manson, and Fuck, I can't remember his name. There's a chance they could all be back for the playoffs, which would be huge. If you get Landeskog back for the playoffs, this team is going to be dangerous. They haven't had their captain all year. It's been a struggle and a fight without him, and this team is still in third place, technically second in the West or in the Central Division. So they've got a chance to make a really good push. We'll see what happens. We are going to move into the Pacific Division, where we have the Las Vegas Golden Knights sitting in first place with 103 points, 48 wins, 22 losses, and 7 overtime losses. Vegas pads its lead in the Pacific with a 4-3 shootout victory over the Wild, who with the loss clinched a playoff berth. So the Wild got that playoff berth in a beautiful loss. Pavel Dorofeyev had his first NHL multi-goal game, and William Karlsson had 2 assists, while Laurent Brossoit made 30 saves for the Golden Knights. I might have mispronounced that, but it's a weird French name.
Yeah.
He made 30 saves for the Golden Knights. Vegas is 10-2-1 in their past 13 games. They take on Nashville tonight. Do you have an update on that score?
Yep.
While he grabs that, in second place you have the Kings, 100 points, 45 wins, 22 losses, 2-2 in the Nashville and Golden Knights game. 10 overtime losses for the Los Angeles Kings. In third place you have the Oilers. They have 99 points, 45 wins, 23 losses, and 9 overtime losses. One other thing I did want to talk about, this is a crazy thing that happened. I think it was Saturday. Former Avs player Matt Duchene had the tip of his finger amputated inside of his glove blocking a shot.
Holy shit.
Took the left ring finger, hit slap shot, boom, hit right on it, like directly on his finger on the stick, pulls his glove off, and he's holding it, and his bone's showing. And
How did the glove not...
The tip of his finger is still inside the glove.
How did the glove not protect it?
It's just like 100-mile-per-hour slap shot. It's just the pressure alone just blew his finger off.
Fuck.
Yeah, pretty wild, man. He
skated
off the ice. He skated off the ice. He's like holding his finger up. You just see this like red nub.
Oh my god.
Blew his finger off, dude. Crazy thing. This is why none of us wear rings at work anymore. My brother David, I think I showed you the picture.
I think I remember this, yeah.
He was climbing up on a truck, and he had a ring on his finger, and he jumped down, and the ring didn't jump down with him. It hooked on the side of the truck, and it basically peeled his finger all the way up to the first knuckle.
Yeah.
And it was just bone. And
oh my god, that looks like something out of a horror movie.
Yeah, I have that picture on my phone
Yeah,
still.
you sent that to me like immediately.
Well, yeah, and then you got hit in the shin by that piece of fucking, was it metal or something? You sent that right to me right away. Yeah. And I was like, why the fuck do you guys do that? I was like, it's cool.
We got to.
Yeah, someone's got to see it.
Part of it. It's just part of it.
My leg blew up, and I got to show somebody.
He'll enjoy it.
All right, so I almost did it in 7 minutes. We're sitting at 53 minutes. Damn it.
It's all good.
Damn it. It's all good, but
we're having
you know
a good
what?
time.
We're going to take a quick break while we get into the... Well, let's get into the rec center, actually.
Yeah,
I lied. We're going to get into the rec center.
I know
lied
you got a good rec center for us.
Yeah, we had to talk about it beforehand because I didn't really have one, but I got one now. So, Chad, tell us what your rec center is this week.
My rec center for this week that everybody should check out is Blackbird on Apple TV Plus. I know a lot of people may not have Apple TV Plus, but this is totally worth it. People like crime, murder, mystery, definitely check out Blackbird. It's about a true story of the serial killer Larry Hall, and the guy that plays him does such a good job. I mean, he plays such a creepy serial killer. The guy's in prison, and he won't admit technically to these killers.
What serial killer is he? What's his name?
His name's Larry Hall.
I know,
he doesn't.
He doesn't have a nickname. The Ripper.
Nope. No, he doesn't have a nickname or anything
Jack-offer?
like that. No, but he just killed like a total of I think 21 possible girls, and yeah, it was around like
the Green River
Illinois,
Okay.
Indiana area, and yeah, so he got sentenced to prison, but there wasn't really any way for them to prove it. So this other guy got sentenced, and so they approached him with a proposition to where if they could get Larry Hall to admit to it and tell us where these bodies are, then his sentence would get commuted. And the guy that plays that is does a good job. Taron Egerton, kind of an up and rising star.
Name sounds super familiar. I'm sure if I saw his face, I'd know him.
Yeah, he kills it, man. It's definitely worth checking out. It is an amazing series. It's about only 6 episodes. Totally worth checking out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do like the shorter episode stuff. Like sometimes the 10 episodes, you're like, there's just way too much to keep up with. So the shorter stuff is always nice. So Blackbird on Apple
TV Plus.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you have Xbox, I think you can get Apple TV Plus right now free for a few months. So if you got like Xbox Game Pass or something like that,
good call.
I think you get it for free. So if you're looking for a way to catch up on some Apple TV shows, which I think we might do, we were trying to check out what is it? The Jason Sudeikis show,
Ted Lasso.
Everybody's talking about
everybody
that. I
loves
haven't
that
watched
shit.
it, but
Yeah,
heard a lot about it.
Yeah, apparently it's really funny.
I don't have Apple TV Plus, so I guess I'm going to have to get it so I can watch that and
It's
Blackbird.
totally worth it.
I think I could do that in that free trial.
There's another show, Shrinking, on Apple TV Plus.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
totally worth checking out. I've told you
Jason
about it.
Segel and
It is awesome.
Is it
Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking cool. All right, well, we'll get into little man just busted in the door. I didn't shut the door when I went to pee. Damn it. Little man broke in. So we'll get into my rec center. My rec center this week is Waco American Apocalypse. I am 1 episode in. Chad has finished it.
Yeah, I'm the one who told you to check it out.
Technically, Chad rec centered this to me, and now I am recycling his
So
rec center
awesome.
as our rec center. Super good. I obviously kind of knew vaguely what happened, but as you watch this documentary, things get, you just don't even know what's happening. It gets so crazy. So many things happen. You know everybody dies, but to hear how everything transpired is super crazy. You learn a lot. It's only 3 episodes, so like I was just talking about, you get the full effect in 3 and
that's all it
hours or
takes.
so. Yeah. I mean, you don't need much more.
Shows you how gullible humans can be.
Well, we live
dark.
We live in the TikTok world now, where if it's not 15 seconds or less, we can't watch the whole thing. So.
No, it's definitely worth checking out because like I was just kind of young, wasn't really aware too much of what happened, but this really went into depth of like what's going on, and I mean it's frustrating, man. I fucking hate watching this right now. Down 11 to the fucking Houston Rockets.
Jesus Christ, dude. When did that happen? We were just tied.
They went on 8-0 run in the last like 2.5 minutes.
Malone,
I mean, they're not getting any calls.
Malone better get ejected tonight.
Yeah,
Malone
he
better
should.
get
The
ejected.
refs are fucking us over tonight. But yeah, check out Waco. I mean, it's a total tragedy.
God damn it. Yeah, it's insane. You just the David Koresh is a fucking weirdo.
I didn't realize that even Timothy McVeigh was so influenced by it.
Oh, I didn't realize that either.
Because I knew he did that Oklahoma City bombing on that same day, but he went down there during that standoff and was even interviewed by the news. Man.
Oh, shit. Well,
You'll get into
I need
that,
to watch
man.
the rest of this shit.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm watching tonight.
Check it out.
Yeah. Waco, American Apocalypse. Because it's crazy. It's on Netflix, so it's pretty easily accessible. So check that out. On that note, we are going to take another quick break, and John Daly is about to hit it hard, man.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, live at large. I hit it hard.
And we are back for the final time of episode 29 of Fringe Fanatics. You just heard John Daly. He hit it hard, and we're about to hit it hard with a daily dose of excellence this week. Chad, tell us what the hell it is.
We got Lamont Butler from Saturday's game hitting an iconic game winner for San Diego State. But it's not just the buzzer beater amazing finish that he did to knock off Florida Atlantic. It was the story behind it. Mm-hmm. Apparently there was a tragedy where he lost his sister, Asasha Hall, who was shot and killed in January 2022. Very sad.
That's very soon. I thought it was going to be later than that.
It was just
Last
a
year.
year ago, yeah. So I mean, even because that's one thing the article goes into is how like the school told him, man, you don't need to play, and apparently, it's just amazing because he went ahead and played, and he says, I think about her every day. Ever since she passed, she was one of my biggest supporters, and I know she's up there right now. And I wanted to bring this up because he says he felt his sister's presence in the winning 17-foot shot buzzer beater, because somebody that has lost like that, no matter what, they feel it. Even in a high pressure, in a millisecond, they feel that going on. And so it's just an amazing story where somebody, he says here, I just truly decided that basketball was going to make me happy again. He could have easily just tried to take a year off or whatever it might have been, but he powered through it. His team and his school supported him, and he led a number 5 San Diego State to the Final Four.
Yeah, which a lot of people didn't think they were going to. I mean, they were one of the, the upsets, and technically, I mean, nobody saw them making it all the way to the Final Four the way they did, and
nobody.
And to be in that position. And I think even his coach said, I didn't really want that shot to be the shot, but like that wasn't really what we had drawn up, but it worked, and
He even said, like, I almost stepped out of bounds looking back at the play. I didn't realize that I was that close to almost like ending it. So it was just like, something that's pretty amazing. And so, I definitely think it's pretty awesome how he can take tragedy like that and build from it and lead his team, a small school like San Diego State, to the Final Four.
Yeah, which is awesome. So Lamont Butler, you, sir, are the daily dose of excellence this week for all you had to go through, and the fact that you were able to persevere and make it all the way to the Final Four is huge.
Yeah.
And let's hope that maybe we see him in the NBA sometime.
That would be great.
See.
Yeah. Thank you for using, a sad story like that to turn it into triumph.
Yeah, sometimes you got to overcome things like that, and he definitely did. So on that note, Lamont Butler, you are the DDOE, the daily dose of excellence this week.
Most certainly.
So cheers to him. Cheers to San Diego State for a good run. And cheers to us.
Cheers to you, Chris.
Here's to the new digs, man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Good show.
All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you've interacted with us or shared anything we've put out, it means a lot to us. It goes insanely far for furthering what we're trying to do. So it's greatly appreciated. Every one of you that is, tuned in or watched an episode. It means a lot. We appreciate you guys, and it gives us a reason to keep doing something that we love to do anyways. So we are greatly appreciated. If you've made it this far in the episode, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. It does
Share it.
so much for us. Share it. Just do whatever you can to get us out there, because if you like it, somebody will like it too, and that's how it starts. It's just like the Wayne's World, and then he tells 2 friends, and they tell two friends,
and it just snowballs from there,
and so on and so on. But yeah, this week it's been awesome, man. We upgraded. We've got a new fucking place. We doubled our followers this week, which is so huge.
We're building.
Every one of you that follows
It's catching on.
It's catching on. Things are happening. So stay tuned, man. Things are only going to get better from here. We appreciate and love each and every one of you. Chad, I love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy. Good
Have
episode.
a good rest of the week. Great episode. We will see you guys next time. Same place, same channel. French Fanatics.
Farewell.